Chapter 1280. Sheng watched as the tornado swept past her. Why did that idiot Mu Bai think that this thing could trap her? Hold on tight. Sheng grabbed Mu Yu's arm and urged him. Mu Yu didn't say anything. He tightened his grip slightly as a response. Sheng looked at the trajectory of the tornado and calculated the time. When two tornadoes were approaching, she suddenly ran forward. The iron sword opened a path and cut through the tornado that was about to merge. When she passed through, she felt uncomfortable as if something was squeezing her body. Mu Yu only felt a slight discomfort. The watch on his wrist was faintly hot, but the discomfort soon disappeared. Sheng ran past 5 tornadoes in a row. When he stopped, they were already standing outside the arena. Mu Hui and the others were just in front of them. They were all looking at them with gloomy faces. I'm going to take care of someone. You play by yourself. Be careful. Sheng let go of Mu Yu. Mu Yu glanced at Mu Hui. Okay. Sheng ran in another direction. Mu Yu stood in the middle of the road and blocked the pursuers. Mu Yu, why are you helping the evildoers? Mu Yu's azure eyes flashed with a dark light. Without saying a word, he directly attacked. In the flash of light, countless skeletons rushed out. Sheng went around the corner of the arena and ran to the back of the arena. The air was filled with the smell of blood. When she turned another corner, the scene in front of her stunned her. It was a pentagram drawn with blood. In the middle of the pentagram, Yukishiro was lying on the ground. Blood was flowing from her wrist. Beside Yukishiro, the president stood with a cold face and a blood-stained knife in his hand. Miss Weishi, you're here. The president turned around and smiled. The shrubs behind him were swaying in the wind. It was as if time had stopped. Where's Mu Bai? The president took out a handkerchief and wiped the blood on the knife. Miss Weishi, Mr. Mu said that it's not his turn to deal with this small matter. *T. Sheng glanced at Yukishiro and said, he doesn't have the guts to meet me. That's why he sent you here. The president acted as if he didn't hear her. Miss Weishi, do you know what makes a person feel the most despair when they die? Sheng said coldly, there's no such thing as the greatest despair, only greater despair. Sheng's answer might not be what the president expected. He paused for a few seconds before answering with a smile. Miss Weishi seems to be very knowledgeable. Weishi. Yukishiro twisted her head and looked at her with a pale face. It's dangerous. Run. The president lowered her head and looked at Yukishiro. Suddenly, the knife in her hand slipped out and went straight for Yukishiro's chest. The knife was sharp, and if it was stabbed, he would definitely die. Yukishiro's breathing stopped at that moment. She did not expect that she would not be killed by her stepmother and stepsister. Instead, she would die in such a strange way. Yes, it was baffling. The knife was blown away by the strong wind and fell beside Yukishiro's arm, leaving a deep cut on her arm. Blood flowed down her arm and soaked into the ground. The next moment, a strong light filled her eyes. She could barely see anything. All she could hear was the whistling of the wind. The sound lasted for a long time. When the light dimmed, Yukishiro felt that the force that was restraining her was gone. Her eyes were sore, and tears flowed out uncontrollably. The scene around her was like a Category 12 typhoon. Branches were broken, buildings collapsed, and the ground cracked. Yukishiro tried to sit up. The pentagram array under her was destroyed. Not far away, the president's body was lying on the ground. No one knew if he was dead or alive. Weishi. Yukishiro got up from the ground and ran toward the president. She tripped a few times before she reached Sheng. Weishi. Weishi, are you okay? Yukishiro helped her up. Sheng's eyes were closed and his breathing was weak. It seemed that he would die at any moment. Yukishiro's face was pale. Her lips were trembling and her voice sounded like she was about to cry. Weishi, don't die. Please don't die. I will take you to Mu Yu. She got up from the ground and supported Sheng. Her wrist was still bleeding. The blood flowed down her arm and dripped to the ground. It was a ghastly sight. She ignored the blood on her wrist and helped Shi Shang to walk forward. "Little girl, leave him to me." A gentle voice came from behind. It was a polite voice, but Yukishiro felt a chill run down her spine. Her mind went blank for a moment. It was that man. Yukishiro's body went limp and she fell to the ground. Suddenly, she felt a strong force around her waist. She felt dizzy and found herself in a man's arms. A familiar voice sounded in her ears. "Mubai, long time no see. You cheated." The voice that had been gentle and elegant a moment ago now had a hint of gnashing teeth. "All is fair in war." Mubai was heartbroken. "You were not like this in the past. You have changed." This woman was never one to play by the rules. Now she had learned how to cheat. He could not play this game anymore. He was too careless just now. Calm down. He could not be agitated. As a gentleman, he had to maintain his elegance. Elegance. Elegance my ass. He could not even maintain his smile. I want to rewind and start all over again. Shi Shang curled his lips. You were not so good at hiding in the past. Mubai took a few deep breaths and barely managed to calm the irritation in his heart. I will improve. Shi Shang bandaged Yukishiro's hand and said calmly, I will improve too. Is your progress a trick? That is not in line with your character. Mubai was furious. He was violating his character. Mubai, you don't know me that well. Shi Shang let go of Yukishiro's hand and let her steady herself. She looked up at the man opposite her. I have done many things that you can never imagine. I don't like cheating because it is troublesome, not because I don't know how to do it. Mubai gritted his teeth. That's true. Otherwise, why would you be in that position? I was too careless this time. I should have made sure that you were dead before coming out. But don't worry, I will make sure that you are really dead next time. Mubai quickly took out his knife and placed it on his neck without hesitation. I have a small gift for you. I hope you like it. Even if he could not kill her, he wanted to disgust her to death. He was so angry. Wait a minute. So, he had prepared a small gift so early because deep down, he also felt that he could not defeat her? Mubai suddenly hated himself. How could he have such a scary thought? Next time, he would survive until the end. He wiped his hand and his body fell to the ground. Half of his face started to change. His skin turned greenish-brown and his body started to expand. In the next moment, Shi Shang carried Yukishiro and quickly retreated. Bang! Chapter 1281. Mubai's explosion leveled the entire school. Shi Shang didn't know how he'd done it, but the power of the explosion was just that great. Not only did the school explode, but several other places in the city also exploded. That was not a big deal. What was even more shameful was that Mubai had left her name at the scene. Mubai had made the best use of the phrase, I can't kill you, but I can make you sick to death. The explosion had just happened, and in less than 5 minutes, the news had spread all over the internet. Now, everyone in the city knew that she was up to something. Shi Shang took out his tablet and clicked on the progress bar. The progress bar had reached 88%. 12% more. Shi Shang put the tablet away and looked at Yukishiro. Are you okay? Yukishiro's body was weak. When she heard Shi Shang's voice, she came back to her senses and hugged Shi Shang's neck. I thought you were going to die. Shi Shang froze for a moment before patting her back. Yukishiro burst into tears. She was really frightened this time. It took her a while to calm down. Can you walk? Shi Shang asked. Yukishiro was still clinging to him. She shook her head. No. Shi Shang sighed and picked her up. I will put you in a safe place later. Yukishiro looked up at him. What about you? It's not safe with me. I have to find Muyu. Well, be careful. Shi Shang looked at her and quickly found a safe place. He called the hospital and went back to find Muyu. The explosion happened so fast that all the Mu family members were affected. Only Mu Yu was unharmed. When the explosion swept over, they saw Mu Yu's body emitting white light. The young man was exquisite. His silver hair fluttered in the wind, and the fire danced in his blue eyes. He was like an untainted fairy, shockingly beautiful, so beautiful that it was unreal. Shi Shang went to find Mu Yu and checked him carefully. "I'm fine." Mu Yu let him touch his body and his eyes fell on the watch on his wrist. "What about them?" Shi Shang gestured with his chin towards Mu Hui and the others. Mu Yu looked over and raised his voice slightly. "From now on, I have nothing to do with you." Mu Hui was speechless. Mu Yu turned around. "Let's go." Shi Shang pursed her lips. She was a little reluctant. She wanted to get rid of all future troubles. But Mu Yu's eyes revealed a trace of weakness and pleading, "Wei Shi, if they dare to do anything to you again, I will not show any mercy." Mu Yu was silent for a few seconds. "At that time, I will do it myself." Since the school had been destroyed, the school competition naturally could not continue. Shi Shang didn't dare to bring Mu Yu back to Paradise Street. He asked Sly Tong to find a more secluded place. She went back alone to pack up Mu Yu's things. In fact, Mu Yu didn't have many things, so Shi Shang brought along the things he usually used. She looked around the room and her gaze fell on the pillow. She walked over and bent down to take out the jade from under the pillow. After thinking for a while, she stuffed it into her bag. After making sure that everything was packed, Shi Shang went downstairs. The staircase was very old. The white dust on the wall had fallen off, revealing the cement wall. There were all kinds of strange things drawn on it. Shi Shang walked a few steps and suddenly stopped. There was a person leaning against the corner of the staircase. It was a woman. The woman walked a few steps forward and revealed her face. "Wei Shi, I want to talk to you." In the coffee shop, Shi Shang and Aunt Xian sat facing each other. At this moment, Aunt Xian had a strong and fierce aura. She was no longer as amiable as an elder. Aunt Xian spread a few documents in front of Shi Shang. Shi Shang's gaze swept across the documents. A few words jumped into his vision. Demon Law Demon Cleansing Alliance Law Demon Sealing Record Wei Shi. Aunt Xian spoke calmly. Wei Shi, an SS rank demon. She was sealed in the demon sealing record for 600 years. She broke the seal 2 years ago and formed a contract with a human. Danger level red. Shi Shang casually flipped through the documents on the table. You knew that Mu Yu had formed a contract with a demon 2 years ago. Why did you only come to find me now? You are a demon king, Aunt Xian said seriously. We didn't dare to act rashly. We could only monitor you first. Aunt Xian observed Shi Shang's expression and found that she didn't show any emotions. She continued, according to our observations, you didn't do anything to kill the innocent. However, we didn't know how dangerous you were, so we decided to continue observing you. Then why are you looking for me now? Aunt Xian opened the tablet on the table and passed it to her. There were a few videos of the scene of the explosion. The most eye-catching one was her name. Wei Shi was here. Shi Shang had seen it before. However, that video only had her name. It wasn't filmed in full. F*CK, Mubai is an idiot. He actually used such a trashy slogan. Aunt Xian suddenly heard Shi Shang scolding someone. She caught a word. Mubai? Shi Shang pushed the video away. Would you believe me if I said that I was the one who did this? Aunt Xian frowned. She didn't say whether she believed it or not. She continued, the demons in the demon suppression record were all sealed willingly. They signed a contract with our demon cleansing alliance. You weren't summoned by your own will. Shi Shang interrupted Aunt Xian. Wait, you said that I was sealed willingly? No matter how he looked at it, the original owner didn't seem like a demon who was willing to be sealed. Yes, most of the demons in the demon suppression record are S rank. There aren't many SS rank demons, but there are still quite a few. Once they reach their rank, they won't be able to level up. If they aren't sealed and can't level up, they will die. Shang, so there was a way to avoid death. He had learned something new. Aunt Exine continued, you weren't summoned by your own will. This is our Demon Cleansing Alliance's negligence. However, you caused such a large explosion and caused countless casualties. This is a violation of the contract. Therefore, we will seal you again according to the contract. This time, you will be sealed forever. Shang looked at Aunt Exine in amusement. What makes you think that I will let you seal me? Muyu. Aunt Exine also smiled and said confidently, he won't die as long as you are sealed. She cared about Muyu a lot. This was what they had observed. Muyu was their bargaining chip right now. Shang sneered. That's it? There was only coldness in her eyes, and not the slightest fluctuation could be seen. Aunt Exine suddenly felt a bit nervous. She forced herself to calm down. There is no solution to the soul sacrifice. He will become weaker and weaker. Do you want to see him die? Shang stood up, her eyes filled with arrogance. You want to control my affairs? That's impossible. No one can make decisions for me. If your Demon Cleansing Alliance dares to mess around, I will make your Demon Cleansing Alliance disappear. She left her position and smiled as she turned around. Her voice was faint as she said, I don't mind the world being in chaos. ## seeking evergreen flower flavored votes today. # monthly votes. 2000. Monthly votes. 2000. Monthly votes. 2000. Monthly votes. 2000. Chapter 1282. Shang pressed the table and leaned over to look at Aunt Exine. I don't think you have the anti-demon record. Aunt Exine's expression changed. Shang clicked his tongue. Where did you get the courage to negotiate with me if you don't even have the anti-demon record? Come and talk to me after you have enough bargaining chips. Shang retracted his hand and walked out of the cafe. Aunt Exine stood up and lost her composure. Weishi, do you really not care about Muyu? Shang paused and said after a while, if he lives, I live. If he dies, I die. The explosion was a hot topic, but there was nothing they could do as they couldn't find Weishi. Under the control of the Devil Cleansing Alliance, the situation gradually calmed down. Weishi, did you really do it? Yukishiro turned off the TV and climbed onto the bed. She looked at Shang who was sitting beside her. Shang rolled his eyes. I wouldn't write such a stupid manifesto. Yukishiro rolled her eyes. You mean Weishi was here? Ha ha ha, I think it's funny too. She laughed and paused. Was it the person from that day? Shang looked at her. How did you get caught by him? Logically speaking, the female lead shouldn't have been caught by that idiot Mu by so easily. Yukishiro was furious. It was Shuefei and Nana. They got into a fight and I accidentally saw them. Who knew that they would team up to deal with me? That man suddenly appeared and caught me. Shang, the supporting female lead and the female lead couldn't get along well. I didn't expect the president to be so scary. Yukishiro shrank her neck. She still remembered the president's expression when he slit her wrist. The president had always been scary. He was a pervert. Shang changed the topic. Do you have anything in particular that you want to do? Ha! This incident was directed at me. You were implicated. I'll give you a chance to make a request. Yukishiro's eyes lit up. Anything? Shang added. Except for Muyu. Yukishiro. She didn't want Muyu. He was scarier than the president. Let me think. Yukishiro rested her chin on her hand and pondered for a long time. Can I save it? Yes, sure. Shang had something else to do, so he asked Cunning Tong to stay here and watch over Yukishiro. Zhao Tong had been taking care of her in the hospital for the past few days. Although he said he was taking care of her, he was actually pretending to be invisible in the room. Sometimes, when Yukishiro was bored, she found it fun to tease him. Shang returned to her new home and found traces of someone in the room. She frowned. Mu Yu. Mu Yu poked half of his head out of the bathroom. His head was wet, and his silver hair stuck to his cheeks. The water droplets slid down his cheeks to his collarbone, but the bottom was blocked by the bathroom door. He opened his mouth slightly. You're back? Who was here? Aunt Xian. Shi Sheng frowned. What did she say to you? Nothing much. He just came to see me. Shi Sheng went to the bedroom to find his school bag and took out the book. Mu Yu always carried this book with him. Aunt Xian probably didn't expect it to be in his school bag. Shi Sheng took the book and went out. Mu Yu had already put on his clothes and came out. He was drying his hair with a towel. His messy hair matched his beautiful face, and it was very beautiful. Shi Sheng suppressed the thought of committing a crime. Don't interact with her in the future. Why? Shi Sheng looked at him and said directly, she's from the Devil Cleansing Alliance. She wants to seal me. Mu Yu's eyes narrowed, and his hand stopped drying his hair. He froze for a few seconds, and the towel slipped from his hand. He walked to Shi Sheng and hugged him. No one can take you away from me. Shi Sheng smiled and hugged him back. It was finally settled. They didn't know how they kissed or how they ended up on the bed. But when they were about to touch, Mu Yu suddenly shrank back. He hugged himself, and the fear on his face made Shi Sheng's heart ache. Don't do it. Don't be afraid. Shi Sheng hugged Mu Yu. I'm sorry. Mu Yu's voice trembled. Give me some time. Okay. Mu Yu's breathing gradually calmed down, and Shi Sheng played with the book. You want to open this book? Mu Yu asked softly. You can open it? She thought that the book had recognized its owner. But this was a book that sealed demons. How could it recognize its owner? Mu Yu nodded. He took the book and flipped through it. The page opened. Shi Sheng couldn't open it, so Mu Yu had to do it. These are all demons recorded in the book. Mu Yu said as he flipped through it. I summoned you. Weishi from here, and her page became blank. Mu Yu flipped to the end and pointed at the blank page. Shi Sheng asked him to continue flipping. The demons at the back were all SS level. They were arranged according to the front, and the further they went, the stronger they were. Besides her page, there was another blank page in the Devil Cleansing record, which was separated from her page by a demon. Why is it blank here? Mu Yu glanced at it. I don't know. It was blank when I got it. Where did you get this book? Mu Yu blinked. It's the same as that piece of jade. It's been here for as long as I can remember. Shi Sheng. So what the hell was with the book that the male lead changed for him? But face, are you messing with the plot again? You must have done it. The system won't take the blame for this. The background was completed by the plane itself. What did it have to do with the system? Besides, Mu Yu was the original male lead. There was nothing wrong with having a complicated background. Host, don't push the blame to others. Shi Sheng thought for a while and threw the book aside. Sleep, sleep. All schemes and tricks were useless in front of a fist. After a while, Shi Sheng returned to the situation where he wouldn't see anyone during the day and would only return at night exhausted. The people of the Purifying Demon Master Alliance were still causing trouble for her. Shi Sheng was so annoyed that he beat them up whenever he saw them. After that, it wasn't just the people of the Purifying Demon Master Alliance, but also the big families and the owners of the places that had been bombed. In short, Shi Sheng's life was full of challenges. There was no telling which corner someone would turn up to seek revenge. Shi Sheng finally felt Mu Bai's malice. It was fine if they came together and got rid of her in one fell swoop. But these people came separately. They didn't form groups and didn't care about the time. She could put on a show of passion and speed when she went shopping with Mu Yu. These people couldn't beat her, so why did they have to rush to their deaths, wave after wave, without taking a breather? Shi Sheng shook off the blood on his iron sword and walked back to Mu Yu's side. Mu Yu leaned against the wall and looked at her against the light. Let's leave this place. In my last moments, I only want to be with you. Without these annoying people and noise, there was only her. Can you wait a little longer? Why? Do you really want to know? Yes. Her recent state worried Muyu. He was afraid that she had done something behind his back. I'll take you there tomorrow. Wei Shi, Xiao Yu. Shi Shang turned his head and saw Aunt Xian and 3 other men standing at the end of the alley. Shi Shang scratched his head in frustration. Are you done? Chapter 1283. He should have seen you transform before. Aunt Xian did not finish her sentence, but she knew that Shi Shang understood. Aunt Xian paused. He has the blood of a demon in his body. It is normal for him to have such thoughts towards you, who is also a demon. It is his instinct. Shi Shang frowned. So, what are you trying to say? She felt that she would take out a check and throw it at her face in the next second. Then, she would act out the scene of a domineering CEO's mother forcing the domineering CEO's beloved son away. Aunt Xian smiled. I don't have any other intentions. Wei Shi, you don't have to be so nervous. Let me finish. Aunt Xian glanced at Shi Shang and organized her words. Mu Yu's mother is the daughter of our alliance's chairman. We still do not know who his father is. Back then, Xiao Jie was dissatisfied with the marriage arranged by the chairman and disappeared for 3 months. When she returned, she was already 1 month pregnant. No matter how we asked, she would not tell us who the father was. The chairman had no choice but to arrange for Xiao Jie and Mu Hui to get married. Mu Hui knew that Xiao Jie was pregnant, but at that time, he liked Xiao Jie a lot and said that he did not care. Perhaps Xiao Jie wanted to give the child a good environment and accepted the marriage. Xiao Jie gave birth to Xiao Yu, but when Xiao Yu was 1 month old, he suddenly showed signs of dying. Xiao Jie tried many methods, but she did not know what happened to Xiao Yu. She could only watch as Xiao Yu grew weaker day by day until he was on the verge of death. It was a rainy day. Xiao Jie suddenly carried the child and came to find me. At that time, Xiao Yu's blood had already been changed. Xiao Jie left after passing the child to me. When we found her again, she was already dead. Sadness appeared in Aunt Xian's eyes. She used her soul to make a deal with a demon. Later, we found out that she took away the demon forbidding record and the resolute jade. All these years, we have been looking for the demon forbidding record, but we did not expect it to be with Xiao Yu. Shi Shang frowned. He is just a child. How could he hide those things? The male lead's background was so strange. It was all a plot. There was nothing wrong with it. Xiao Jie arranged for someone to do it. We still do not know why she took away the demon forbidding record and the resolute jade. Shi Shang thought of the blank page in the demon forbidding record. And Mu Yu's mother. We have to get the demon forbidding record and the resolute jade back, or else something bad will happen. Aunt Xian paused. Wei Shi, I know that you are different from other demons. Our demon cleansing alliance does not object to you being together with Xiao Yu. However, you must sign a new contract. You cannot go against it. Not interested. The original owner wanted to dominate the world. Why would she sign a damn contract? Wei Shi, this is the best solution. Why do you have to make a big deal out of this? Aunt Xian said earnestly. As long as you sign a new contract, we will create a new identity for you and send you and little you away from here. All of this will be covered in dust and you will have a new life. Aunt Xian described this matter very vividly, as if they would really have a new life like she said. Shi Shang chuckled. Aunt Xian, you forgot about the soul sacrifice. You said that if I wasn't sealed, he would die. Aunt Xian, don't tell me that you think that I will forget about this matter just because you used the previous conditions to tempt me? To put it bluntly, you still want to seal me, right? Aunt Xian, Shi Shang looked at the sky and suddenly said, the 10th of next month is a good day. Aunt Xian. She pursed her lips into a faint smile and returned under Aunt Xian's confused gaze. Demon Cleansing Alliance. The demons have been very active recently, but they haven't attacked humans. I wonder what they are doing. It's about the same on my side. What do they want to do? In the Demon Cleansing Alliance's daily round-table meetings, most people had this question and started discussing it. Aunt Exion listened absent-mindedly. Only when someone called her did she come back to her senses. What? We are asking you, how is Muyu doing? Aunt Exion shook her head. No progress. Wei, she is not easy to deal with. She is a king-level demon. She is definitely not easy to deal with. But we can't just let her go like this. With a king-level demon outside, who knows what will happen? Do the recent events have anything to do with her? Aunt Xin hesitantly said. She said that the 10th of next month is a good day. Everyone's gazes landed on Aunt Xin. Aunt Xin felt a great pressure. What do you mean? She suddenly said that, but I can't connect the two together. I don't know either. No matter what, she definitely has a reason for saying that. Inform everyone to prepare for battle. A slightly older man concluded. After the meeting, Aunt Xin waited for everyone to leave before slowly leaving the meeting room. Just as she left the meeting room, someone invited her to see the chairman. Aunt Xin took a deep breath and went upstairs. The chairman's office. An old man stood in front of the window with his hands behind his back. Chairman. Aunt Xin respectfully lowered her head. How is that child? The old man's voice was filled with vicissitudes. He shouldn't have much time left. Aunt Xin conservatively replied. The old man gave a long sigh. His fate should be like this. Little Jie forcefully changed his fate for so many years. This is already going against the heavens. Aunt Xin hesitated, not knowing whether she should say it or not. If you have something to say, just say it. There are no outsiders here. Yes. Aunt Xin said. Chairman, I feel that Wei Shi won't let Xiaoyu die like this. She has that ability. Wei Shi is much stronger than what we know. Our understanding of her is only from the demon suppression records. Also, the explosion from before might not have been done by her. After observing her for so long, I noticed that she is a demon that dares to take responsibility for her actions. Then why didn't she explain herself? The old man was confused. Maybe, even if she explained, no one would believe her. Once humans believe that someone did something, they would try their best to prove that they were right. With her ability, there was no need to explain. Anyways, others could do whatever they wanted and it wouldn't affect her much. Aunt Xin had to say that even though she was a demon, she was living a carefree life. She didn't care about the rules of the world at all. If she was unhappy, she would take revenge on the spot. She had the ability to be arrogant. The old man was silent for a moment. What do you mean? Xiao Yu is little Jie's child. I don't want to see him die like this. Wei Shi cares a lot about him, we can. The old man interrupted Aunt Xin. No, this matter has a price. I cannot use the people of the Alliance to exchange for someone who should have died long ago. Chairman, I am willing. Aunt Xin raised her head and looked at the old man. If it wasn't for my negligence, little Jie wouldn't have run out. I should take responsibility for this matter. The old man was silent and didn't speak for a long time. After a long while, the old man's voice rang out. Then what happens after the child dies? If he lives, she lives. If he dies, she dies. This is what she said. I believe that what she said is true. Chapter 1284. On the 10th day of the new year, the demons suddenly issued a challenge to the Demon Cleansing Alliance. It was a serious challenge, not a sneak attack. Although the Demon Cleansing Alliance was prepared, they were still caught off guard. The demons didn't launch a sneak attack, but they openly issued a challenge. Starting from the demon cleansing families, they would take turns one by one. The losers would either die or submit. There was only one person who issued the challenge, and it was the thorn in the side of the Demon Cleansing Alliance. She even said arrogantly, "You have so many people against me, but you can't even defeat me. Don't talk about how unfair it is." The group of Demon Cleansing Alliance was speechless. They couldn't even defeat one demon with so many people. Their faces were burning. The last stop was the Demon Cleansing Alliance. Shi Shang led a group of demons to the Demon Cleansing Alliance. The Demon Cleansing Alliance looked at them nervously. The old man came out and stood on a high ground, looking down at the scene below. Wei Shi, what do you want to do? I want to dominate the world. Shi Shang spread his hands. If it wasn't necessary, she didn't like to dominate the world. But she had to fulfill the original owner's last wish. The old man was speechless. Was dominating the world a game? You want to dominate the world? Shi Shang met the old man's gaze and smiled. You Demon Cleansing Alliance have been in charge for a long time. It's time for us demons to take charge. Since ancient times, evil has never triumphed over good. It's impossible for you demons to take charge. The old man's voice was loud and clear. Shi Shang narrowed his eyes and smiled. So I'll let you see a miracle. Do you really want to plunge the world into chaos? The old man asked with a dark expression. Chairman, you're exaggerating. I'm issuing a serious challenge. Have you heard of any uncontrollable events? The old man fell silent. Indeed, from the moment she started the challenge, all the families were in chaos. The human world was very peaceful. There were no chaotic scenes of demons attacking humans on a large scale. Shi Shang waved his hand. All right, let's not talk nonsense. Just go. If you win, give up your seat. Don't waste time. Everyone looked at the old man. This was the arrow on the bow. It had to be shot. Even if they didn't agree, she would still force her way in. The Demon Cleansing Alliance had the most demon cleansing masters, and their strength was far greater than that of the aristocratic families. Thus, after pondering for a moment, the old man ordered his men to fight. The Battle of the Devil Cleansing Alliance was supposed to be the longest. The Devil Cleansing Alliance took turns to go up, preparing to exhaust the Shi Shang to death. However, this idea was good, but reality was cruel. Shi Shang's speed was too fast. Most of the time, they would fly off the stage before their star maps could be unfolded. Saying that she cheated? She was attacking openly, but her speed was too fast. How could this be considered a trick? The people behind would unfold their star maps before they went up, but the result was not suspenseful. Unfortunately, there were many of them, and it would take a long time for them to take turns one by one. In the end, the Shi Shang got impatient and decided to kill them all. The members of the Demon Cleansing Alliance could only watch helplessly as Shi Shang led the demons to take over the Demon Cleansing Alliance. When the Devil Cleansers returned, chaos ensued. Clearly, the results were not good. All the Devil Cleansers either had broken limbs or were doubting their lives. They might have met a fake demon. How could she be so powerful? In the end, the Devil Cleansers could not hold on any longer. The old man took the lead to negotiate with Shi Shang. Wei Shi, what exactly do you want to do? The old man stared sharply at Shi Shang. Shi Shang smiled mysteriously. I want to create a miracle for you. Everyone. What kind of miracle was this? Zhong Ersheng started to read his lines seriously. Light will always defeat darkness, but there will be a day when darkness will bite back. Yin and Yang cannot be separated. Since it exists, there must be a reason for it. Now, darkness is about to descend. The old man's mouth twitched. Devil cleansers and demons are only a small part of the world. This world still belongs to ordinary humans. That's why I didn't do anything to ordinary humans. Shi Shang spread his hands. She had spent a lot of effort to not harm humans. Host, do you dare to touch your conscience and say that you really don't want to harm humans? Shi Shang rolled his eyes in his heart. Conscience? What is that? I don't have one. She avoided humans because there were too many of them. If she really started a fight, she would find it troublesome. Hence, she would rather cause trouble at the front to prevent trouble at the back. How could a person who was so selfish suddenly have a conscience? There's no benefit for us to continue fighting like this. Let's discuss and come up with a satisfactory outcome. What do you think, Wei Shi? The old man saw that she did not do anything to ordinary humans, so he sat there and negotiated with her. Jiao Tong, Shi Shang shouted outside. Jiao Tong stumbled in and lowered his head as he walked to Shi Shang. He didn't look at the room full of purifying demons. You talk to them. Shi Shang stood up. Ha! Jiao Tong was surprised. Me? Master? How could he have the guts to talk to these devil cleansers? Don't worry and talk boldly. Record down whoever dares to cause trouble and wait for me to come back. Shi Shang waved his hand. No, Master. Master, is this really okay? He's just a small fry. Wei Shi. The person beside the old man could not stand her anger. Don't be too arrogant. Shi Shang opened the door, and light shone in from outside, elongating her figure. Her voice floated over. If you want to talk, then don't talk. If you don't want to talk, then fight. I have no objections. That person's expression froze. Cunning Child had no choice but to negotiate in front of the group of demon cleansing masters in fear. Although his performance was a little unpresentable, when it came to the content of the negotiation, Jiao Tong would not give in at all. If there was a disagreement, he would use Shi Sheng. After 10 days of negotiation, hundreds of agreements were drawn up. When it was time to sign the final agreement, Shi Shang naturally had to be present. Shi Shang flipped through the agreement and looked at the old man. One last condition. The old man nodded, indicating for her to continue. Shi Shang said word by word, "Kill Mu Yi." The representative of the Mu family panicked. He slammed the table and stood up, shouting, "Wei Shi, what do you mean?" "I mean it literally. Don't you understand?" Shi Shang twirled her pen. "When Mu Yi dies, I will sign this agreement." "You?" The old man raised his hand and signaled for that person to shut up. He ordered in a deep voice, "Go and bring Mu Yi here." Since he was not one of their own, the other aristocratic families who participated in the negotiation immediately sent people from the Devil Cleansing Alliance to capture Mu Yi. Even if Mu Yi could run, he could not escape from so many people. In the end, he was brought to Shi Sheng. Mu Yi had not been having a good time recently. After such a thing happened, Shuefei and Nana were still causing trouble in front of him all day. Therefore, he looked very dispirited at this moment. Wei Shi. Mu Yi looked at the person above, his eyes almost popping out. "What do you want?" Shi Shang ignored Mu Ye's shouts. "I only want a corpse, not a living person." She could not kill the male lead, so why would she want a living person? #hashtag today's vote #vote. Oh. Chapter 1285. The old man looked at the people below. Who would do it? No matter who did it, they would have to break off relations with the Mu family. The hall was silent for a long time. Someone stood up. "I'll do it." Everyone let out a sigh of relief and immediately gave up the place. "What do you want?" Mu Yi struggled violently. "Let me go." He clearly knew the plot and should be the final winner. But why did it turn out like this? Why? "I'm sorry, young Master Mu. I did it for everyone." That person took the knife that was handed over. "I don't want to die. Let me go. Let me go." Mu Ye's eyes were filled with fear. He didn't want to die here. That person closed his eyes and stabbed Mu Ye's chest. Blood splattered. That person suddenly fell down. Mu Ye's face was covered in blood. He knew that it wasn't his blood. A figure stood in front of him. It's Mu Ye's familiar. The familiar helped Mu Ye up and untied his hands. Then, it ran towards the nearest person. In a small space, various star charts were unfolded. Colorful lights flowed in the room. "Kill her, kill Wei Shi." Mu Yu roared at the demonic familiar as he blocked the people attacking him. The familiar heard Mu Yu's order and immediately ran towards Shi Sheng. Shi Shang sat there calmly, twirling the pen in her hand. She tilted her head and saw the familiar running over. The flow of time seemed to have slowed down. No one stopped the familiar. They were all lucky. Maybe they could kill her? Bang! The flow of time returned to normal. The familiar's body slammed on the table. The table was torn apart. The paper flew into the air and fell on the familiar's body, staining it red. As for that person, he was still sitting there, watching with a calm expression. If the master didn't die, the familiar wouldn't die. But if the familiar was injured, it wouldn't be able to move. Everyone rushed forward and caught the familiar. Their sliver of hope had already vanished into thin air at this moment. Without the familiar, Mu Yi was quickly caught. The old man glanced at Shi Sheng. The latter raised his eyes slightly and looked at Mu Yi. Mu Yi was forced to kneel on the ground. The blood on his face made him look ferocious. His eyes were filled with hatred. It was this woman who ruined his plan. "Do it," the old man ordered. This time, it was the person behind Mu Yu. A long needle condensed from light pierced through Mu Yu's chest. The long needle scattered in the air, leaving only the bloody hole in his chest. Mu Yu's eyes widened. She raised her hand and stretched it towards the Shi Sheng. Halfway through, her hand fell limply. The person holding him down let go, and his body fell to the ground. Everyone looked at his corpse in silence. Sometimes, some people had to be sacrificed for the greater good. When they came back to their senses and went to look for Shi Sheng, they only found a signed page on the chair. Everyone collected all the papers. Several of them were stained with blood. From then on, the demon cleansers and the evil demons split half of the world. A long time later, the purifying devil masters would call this treaty the unending law. Shi Sheng didn't tell Mu Yu about his background. If he didn't want to know, she wouldn't tell him. She brought Mu Yu up the mountain. The sky was full of stars, and the Milky Way was clearly visible. Shi Sheng and Mu Yu were lying flat on the mountaintop. Little breath. Mu Yu propped himself up and looked at her from the side. "Yes? Can you change back to your original appearance for me to see?" Mu Yu pinched Shi Sheng's hair. "Shi Sheng, if you change back, you'll be beastly." "Little breath, I want to see." Shi Sheng sighed. Her black hair turned red in his hands. Even under the faint starlight, it couldn't hide the dazzling color. Mu Yu pinched her hair and sniffed it. Then, he slowly bent down and kissed her from her neck up inch by inch. Every kiss was very careful and gentle. When he captured her lips, the drizzling kiss suddenly became intense. The night wind blew, but it couldn't cool down the scorching heat. The shadows of the trees swayed, covering their entangled figures. Shi Sheng carried Mu Yu and placed him in the middle of the array. Mu Yu's eyes were tightly shut. He seemed to be asleep. Shi Sheng sat beside him and held his hand. Mu Yu's fiery red hair fell on their hands. Shi Sheng sat quietly for a while. Then, he let go of Mu Yu's hand and got up to walk out of the array. She stood outside the array and looked at the figure in the middle of the array from afar. She took out a dagger and slit her wrist. Then, she dripped her blood on the stone along the array. She reversed the blood contract. She activated the array with the blood of the contracted person. After walking around the array, Shi Sheng had lost too much blood. His face was frighteningly pale. His body swayed and he couldn't stand steadily. She stood beside Mu Yu. She didn't treat her wound. Blood dripped to the ground. She made a gesture with her hands. Then, she opened her red lips slightly. Her light voice spread in the night. It was an ancient and awkward spell. Wind rose around the array and spun around it. Her fiery red hair flew into the air. When the first stone lit up, it was like a spark that set the entire array on fire. Spiritual chi was emitted from the stones. The light of the array soared into the sky. When the light rose halfway, it suddenly turned back and entered Shi Sheng's body. She changed her hand gestures quickly. The light slowly overflowed from her body and covered the array in all directions. Shi Sheng's pale face became even paler. His forehead was covered with cold sweat. Her voice was slow and fast. Mu Yu, who had his eyes closed, had a pained expression on his face. As time passed, the light of the array suddenly began to dissipate. Shi Shang looked at the dissipating array in astonishment. In just a second, she made another gesture. The dissipating light of the array slowly condensed. It spun and shrank. In the end, it only covered Shi Shang and Mu Yu. All the light began to divide into two beams. One beam entered Shi Shang's body and the other entered Mu Yu's body. Darkness returned to the world. Shi Shang's body went soft. He fell to the ground. His vision turned black. His body slowly fell toward Mu Yu. Shi Shang didn't know how long she had slept. Her consciousness was a little blurry. She seemed to see the busy doctors in front of her. She was surrounded by white. It was so white that it was uncomfortable. The doctors were discussing something seriously. Their lips opened and closed, but she couldn't hear what they were saying. Shi Shang was shocked. She opened her eyes and found herself lying in Mu Yu's arms. "Xiao Shi, you're awake?" Shi Shang looked at him blankly. The next second, she reached out and hugged him. Her face was pressed against his chest. She could hear his heartbeat. The feeling she had just now disappeared. "Xiao Shi." Mu Yu was a little out of breath. "Where are we?" Shi Shang buried her face in his chest. Her voice was a little muffled. "At home," Mu Yu replied softly. Shi Shang looked up and scanned the surroundings. It was indeed her and Mu Yu's room. "Kiss me." "Xiao Shi, you." "Hurry up," Shi Shang urged. Mu Yu had no choice but to lower his head and kiss her. Their lips and teeth touched. Shi Shang let go of him after a while. "You scared me." Chapter 1286. I slept for a few days. 5 days. Mu Yu couldn't describe how he felt when he woke up and saw her unconscious. He felt as though someone had dug his heart out of his body. Shi Shang touched his wrist. It was wrapped in a layer of gauze, but it didn't hurt when he pinched it. It was probably almost healed. "Did you succeed?" Shi Shang turned to look at Mu Yu. She wasn't sure if he had succeeded in the end. Mu Yu stared at him. His gaze made Shi Shang feel a little guilty. After a while Mu Yu said, "You'll know when you try." Shi Shang rolled his eyes. "Lie down." Mu Yu wished that he could take back his words. For the next few days, Shi Shang was recuperating. Mu Yu stayed by her side, as though he was afraid that she would disappear if he turned his head. "Stop fooling around. It's time to get up." Shi Shang pushed the person on top of him away. Mu Yu hugged her and refused to let go. "Sleep for a while more." "I've been lying down for so many days. I want to move around." "You can move around in bed too." Shi Shang's mouth twitched. "Is it the activity that I'm thinking of?" Mu Yu tilted his head. His silver hair swept across Shi Shang's chest, making him feel numb. "Little Shi, what are you thinking of?" "I'm not thinking of anything." Shi Shang looked serious. She couldn't win against him now. "Let go, or I'll hit you." Mu Yu felt wronged and slowly let go. He got out of bed first and handed Shi Shang his clothes. He watched as she changed out of her pajamas. His gaze was calm and he didn't have any desire. She didn't know what he was looking at. "Let me help you." Mu Yu suddenly went forward and helped Shi Shang button her clothes. "What's wrong?" Shi Shang held his hand. Mu Yu's hand froze. He said in a low voice, "I'm afraid that you'll disappear if I blink." What happened last time must have scared him. Shi Shang sighed. "No, I won't leave you alone." Mu Yu raised his head to look at her, his eyes reflecting her serious face. The two of them looked at each other silently for half a minute. Mu Yu lowered his head first, took away her hand, buttoned up all the buttons, and tidied up his messy collar. He tilted his head and kissed her on the cheek, then quickly left the room. After the door closed, Shi Shang reached out to hold the cabinet next to him. "Host, are you all right?" "I'm fine. I don't know where you got the method to reverse the blood contract, but the price is too high." Why don't you accept the side mission? Even if I accept it, will I be able to find a solution? But face, don't play word games with me. Why is it playing word games? Alright, the host was right. Completing the side mission might not necessarily give him a way to break the soul sacrifice. But there was a 50% chance that he could get it. Why didn't you tell him this time? The system changed the topic. He's not going to die. Why tell him? Sheshang didn't care. It was just that her body would hurt for a period of time every few days. This was the power of the backfire. She could still bear this pain. The most important thing was that Mu Yu was different. He was very sensitive and fragile. Let's just leave it at that. After the purifying demon school was rebuilt, classes resumed. Mu Yu seemed to like attending classes, so Sheshang naturally let him do as he pleased. Sheshang, the demon, walked around the school openly, and the students were very scared. The school staff came forward to discuss with Sheshang, asking him not to walk around in front of the students for no reason. It would scare them. Sheshang was in despair. He could only pick up his old profession, which was to dig holes. Perhaps because she was provoked, she started to dig holes in a literary style. Of course, she still dug holes that made people want to die. 1 word, torture. 2 words, torture. 3 words, death of the protagonist. Either there was no ending, or if there was an ending, either the female lead died, or the male lead died. Otherwise, both the male and female leads died. This was considered good. The scariest thing was that she would let the protagonist run away with the supporting male. Otherwise, the protagonist would run away with the supporting female. Later on, the readers found that she started to write in a funny style again. She was happy at the beginning and insisted on torturing the protagonist. Still leaving flowers. Dada, do you have a grudge against the protagonist? Can't you let them have a proper relationship? Bandit, I think CUN. Which book in Dada has a proper relationship? If it's not a conspiracy, it's a trick. Otherwise, it's the supporting characters who make trouble. I'm here to read Dada's plot, not to watch the protagonist fall in love. Hua Jian and... Didn't you guys notice? Dada's supporting characters are all showing off their affection. Dada just doesn't let the protagonist fall in love. Returning to the West. Seems like it. Beauty is beauty. I seem to have discovered something terrible. Will I be killed? Flying old-time catkins. Let's eat this dog food. There were countless similar comments. Later on, everyone got used to her way of showing off their affection. The correct way to read a novel was to treat the supporting characters as the protagonists. There was no sense of contradiction at all. Mu Yu didn't live long in this world. He had the devil's blood flowing in his body, but his body was human. It was eroded by the devil's blood all year round. Although he could live because of Sheshang, it was definitely not a good feeling. One day, the readers found that there was an extra completed novel under Sheshang's column. It wasn't serialized. It was added overnight. It was called, I'm Willing to Accompany You in Life and Death. In the abyss full of thorns, darkness follows like a shadow. You are the only guide. The inscription was very elegant, but the content was very plain. It recorded all kinds of trivial things. There was no third person in the whole book. It was surprisingly warm. It was completely different from the style of her previous novels. Between the lines, one could see how much the female protagonist doted on the male protagonist. There was a row of small words at the end. The end of life is not the end. The next starting point will be as promised. After this book, there were no more updates. Everything came to an end here. Sheshang returned to the system space. After calmly moving his hands and feet, he walked to the screen. The system immediately refreshed his information. Name, Sheshang morality points, 393,000 health points, 65 contribution points, 84400 mission level. Emission score, 79 hidden mission, incomplete hidden mission reward, none side mission, complete side mission reward, 2,000 contribution points item list, Queen's Crown, Ghost King's Heart, Dark Night, Kirin Blood. Phoenix Tail Feather Shang was silent. Mu Yu's hidden mission was the uncrowned king, but it didn't seem to be completed in the end. Host, how could you do it? Why wouldn't I do it? It's more painful for him to live. Shang's expression was calm. I've seen how cold-blooded you can be. Even if you said you wanted to abandon Feng Ci immediately, I wouldn't be surprised. The system saw that Shang wanted to do it, so it immediately started the transmission. Do you want to enter the next world? Transmission begins. Asterisk the 37th world ended. As for whether or not to write an epilogue, I'll tell you very seriously. No. Don't ask me why. It's because my CI was killed by Sheng. I'm not happy, so I won't write one. Chapter 1287. Shang leaned against the mountain wall and recalled the original owner's memories. The original owner was beaten up by Bai. Then, she ran out and bumped into a beastman outside. After that, she never encountered another beastman. The original owner casually ran for a distance before encountering a few females who ran out of nowhere. Before she could react, she was pulled to the mountain by a male in heat who caught up from behind. Because she was too noisy, she was knocked out by a male. Then, there was no more. So, how did the original owner die? Shang felt that the person the original owner bumped into was very suspicious. However, the sky was so dark at that time and the original owner was crying so hard that she didn't see who it was at all. How should he solve this? Shang pondered for a long time but couldn't figure it out. She simply didn't want to think about it anymore. If it really didn't work, she would destroy the White Tiger tribe together. The murderer would always be inside. Shang took out a clean set of clothes and put them on. This beast robe was empty and especially short. Shang left the cave and walked towards the White Tiger tribe. Everyone was still resting at this time. Shang avoided the beast men guarding the beast men and sneaked in. When he passed by An's cave, he heard moaning sounds inside. Shang was speechless. Shang had already seen people having sex in public. He really didn't understand the beastman's world. Lin Chi was frightened today. An was probably trying to calm her down. Shang walked silently to the cave he lived in. Oh no, oh no. Bai Dazhuang and the rest are all dead. Early in the morning, a sharp cry resounded throughout the entire White Tiger tribe. Shang crossed her legs and lay on her stone bed. Hearing the gradually clamor outside, she slowly got up. Last night, she heard moaning the entire night. She lived beside Bai. The soundproofing was very bad. Furthermore, they didn't close the door. This world was really scary. She moved to the entrance of the cave and looked outside. The caves were one level higher. Many beast men gathered below and were discussing the dead. Suddenly, they saw a strangely dressed beast man appear in the cave. These people's voices were stuck in their throats. That's the princess? What is the princess wearing? I've never seen such beautiful animal skin. She looks so beautiful. The people from the cave next door also came out. Bai came out first. His upper body was naked, and there was a piece of animal skin around his waist. However, it was not very long. From a bad angle, one could even see some strange things. The corner of Shang's mouth twitched. He glanced at the males below. Compared to Bai, these orcs were much simpler. They were just woven with straw. Beast skin was not something that anyone could wear. Shang face-bombed. This plane was toxic. Bai was tall and burly, and he could be considered handsome. However, compared to the group of orcs below, he was definitely the good-looking type. Bai asked in a low voice, "What happened?" The people below shifted their gaze away from Shang and ordered several orcs to carry up the White Tiger corpses. Bai Dazhuang and the others are all dead. One of them was the one that Shang had stabbed to death last night. Bai glanced at the corpses. Where are the captives? They're all gone. The orcs shook their heads. Leader, could it be the leopard tribe next door? They've been coveting us for a long time. Yesterday, I even saw them loitering outside our tribe. Today, such a thing happened. Leader, I think it was the leopard tribe who did it. Only the leopard tribe could go against their white tiger tribe in the vicinity. Take revenge for De Zhuang and the rest. Revenge, revenge, we have to take revenge. Everyone roared excitedly. Bian scolded them twice before they quietened down. Did you find anything at the scene? An orc threw some things on the ground. I only found these. I didn't find anything else. Bian jumped down and took a look. His brows furrowed. Isn't this Ling Shi's? Lin Chi-Chi had come out at some point in time. She was wearing a snow-white leather skirt. Her skin was fair, and she was petite and cute. She stood beside Bian and was pointing at something that looked like a hairpin on the ground. Although it was called a hairpin, it was actually just a piece of wood. However, there was something carved on it. Bian picked it up and took a look. His eyes suddenly darkened. He turned to look at the cave entrance beside him. The first person he saw was Shi Shang, who was standing at the entrance of the cave. Her clothes were too eye-catching. It was difficult not to see her. The other orcs had never seen clothes made of this material, but Bian had. When he met Lin Chi-Chi, she was also wearing similar clothes. Although the style was too different, the material was similar. Where did she come from? Lin Chi-Chi was shocked when she saw the clothes on Shi Shang's body. She had been here for so long and knew that there were no humans in this world. Although there were cities built by orcs, they were still in the primitive stage. There was no such thing as cloth at all. Where did she come from? Could it be that other people had transmigrated here like her? Or could it be that there were actually humans in this world but she didn't know it yet? Lin Chi-Chi's thoughts spun, but she couldn't grasp the main point no matter what. She couldn't ask directly and could only size up Shi Shang. Bian didn't have any patience for this sister of his now. He raised the hairpin and questioned Shi Shang, Lingxi, what's going on? Shi Shang sat on a rock outside the cave and crossed his legs. How would I know what's going on? She had only killed one. Who the hell knew who killed the others? Bian frowned. Why did your things appear at the scene? Shi Shang smirked. Of course he ran there on his own with long legs. Lingxi. Bian berated. Where were you last night? What did you do? Shi Shang supported his face with his hand and looked melancholic. I don't know. You interrupted me. He did hit her yesterday, but he didn't believe that he interrupted her. Lingxi, don't pester me endlessly. Tell me clearly. Where were you last night? Shi Shang looked up at Bian and asked calmly, does my whereabouts have anything to do with this matter? Can you deduce who the murderer is from where I was, or do you think that I'm the murderer? Bian's face was full of righteousness. Your things appeared on the mountain. I have to ask clearly. What he meant was that he couldn't bend the law for her just because she was a princess and not ask anything about her. I don't know. Shi Shang held his face. Why don't you let me hit you? Perhaps I'll remember. The orcs were speechless. Was the princess crazy? In the group of orcs, a male orc suddenly raised his hand. I saw the princess. The princess ran towards the back of the mountain. The words used were normal, so don't talk to me about orc culture. I don't understand the world of orcs. I don't understand. Chapter 1288. Everyone's gazes, including Shi Shang, were focused on the beastman. Shi Shang's eyes scanned the orc twice. In the original owner's memory, this orc was a coward. Bian asked him to stand up. Tell me. The orc fell to his knees and stammered as he recounted what happened last night. I was on duty last night. I saw the princess run out and run to the back of the mountain crying. Princess. I don't dare to call her that. What the orc didn't say was that the princess was usually so fierce and would throw a tantrum whenever she displeased him. He didn't dare to offend the princess. Bian frowned. That was probably the time when she ran out after he hit her. He gave the order this afternoon that all orcs were not allowed to go near the back of the mountain at night. Why did she run there? So what if you saw her? Sher Shang broke the silence and said casually. The orc trembled and lowered his head, not daring to look at Bai An or Sher Shang. Where did you find this? Bai An asked the orc who handed her the hairpin. It was under De Zhuang. The orc hesitated for a moment. The orcs were in an uproar. They all knew why De Zhuang went to the back of the mountain. How could the princess's hairpin be under De Zhuang? De Zhuang and the princess. The orcs' imaginations were abnormally big. Soon, they came up with hundreds of thousands of words that could not be described. They looked at Sher Shang strangely. Bai An threw the hairpin on the ground and glared at Sher Shang coldly. What did you see last night? I'm not telling you. Sher Shang grinned. Bai An was furious. Lingxi, do you still see me as your brother? You say that as if you still see me as your sister. Sher Shang wanted to say that they were both beasts. Don't say such things. It's inappropriate. The host got into character so quickly. You admitted that you're a beast so quickly. Bah. You're the beast. Buttface is also a kind of beast. If you continue to attack me like this, I'm really going to turn on you. How shameless can you be? Show me your face. I'm going offline. I don't want to see her. It took Sher Shang only a few seconds to scold the system, but Bai An's expression kept changing. Leader, De Zhuang's death was different from the other orcs. The orc who handed him the hairpin spoke again. Bai An suppressed the anger in his heart and went to check on De Zhuang. The tiger's wound on the ground. A sharp weapon had pierced through the tiger's chest. It was clean and there were no other injuries on the tiger's body. The rest of their bodies were covered in bloody wounds. Bai An examined De Zhuang carefully. They were beast men. Although they could transform, they would still revert to their beast forms when fighting and use the most primitive fighting methods. But what could cause such a wound on De Zhuang's body? Bai An didn't know, but Lin Qiqi knew that it had to be at least a dagger. No, a sword. The dagger was too short and couldn't pierce through. Only the length of the sword could pierce through. The wound was very neat and smooth. It was a very sharp sword. However, there was no iron in this world. At least, she had never seen one. Lin Qiqi's gaze couldn't help but look at Sher Shang again. The clothes she was wearing and the way De Zhuang died made Lin Qiqi wonder if she had met a human. Take care of the princess. Bai An stood up and instructed. Follow me to the back of the mountain to take a look. We'll discuss the rest when I come back. Yes. Sher Shang didn't comment and watched as Bai An left with the orcs. Lin Qiqi stood rooted to the ground and looked up at Sher Shang. Sher Shang's lips tugged into a smile before she turned and entered the cave. The orcs outside were discussing animatedly. The entrance of Sher Shang's cave was guarded and no one could enter. Of course, there were exceptions, such as the female lead. Lin Qiqi bent down and entered the cave. The light in the cave immediately dimmed. Sher Shang lay on the bed and crossed his legs. When the light dimmed, she tilted her head and looked at the entrance of the cave. Lin Qiqi looked a little like the obedient girl next door. She wasn't very beautiful. At least, compared to those female leads who were devastatingly beautiful, she was considered a pretty girl from a humble family. However, her skin was very fair and she was wearing a white leather skirt. Her upper body was also sewn with white fur. It blocked what should be blocked and revealed her belly button. Her waist was fair and slender, and could not be held in one hand. Sher Shang clicked his tongue. No wonder so many orcs wanted to do indescribable sports with her. Lingxi. Lin Qiqi stood at the entrance of the cave and called out before walking in. Sher Shang ignored her and just looked at her. Lin Qiqi felt a little uncomfortable being stared at. Lingxi, I don't blame you for what happened yesterday. Bai An hit you a little too much. I'll tell him. D*MN idiot. Are you here to show off in front of I how much authority you have in front of that idiot brother? The above content came from Sher Shang's imitation of the original owner's thoughts. Sher Shang's heart didn't fluctuate at all. She replayed yesterday's events in her mind. Yesterday, an orc from the White Tiger tribe had a conflict with the Black Snake tribe on the mountain next door. At that time, the female lead and the original owner were both present. Since the two sides had a conflict, they naturally had to fight. The Black Snake tribe had many people. No, they had many beasts. The White Tiger tribe couldn't stop them and could only run. The female lead had a setting that she would definitely fall while running. So be it if she fell, but she even brought the original owner with her. Both of them fell to the ground. The Black Snake tribe behind them chased after them fiercely. The original owner subconsciously abandoned the female lead and ran. Chapter 1289. In the end, he was here to ask about the clothes? Damn it! Then, why did you say it so righteously? You made it seem like you were really thinking for the White Tiger tribe. I almost believed you. It's none of your business. After complaining, Shishang said these words indifferently. Lingxi, did you see a human? It's none of your business. Lin Qiqi's face darkened. No matter what she asked, Shishang dismissed her with these words. In the end, she couldn't continue asking. Or perhaps she was afraid of revealing some flaws. Lin Qiqi pinched her clothes and left aggrievedly. Why are you aggrieved? I didn't do anything to you. It's really... Not long after, she heard Bayan return. After a commotion outside, Bayan suddenly rushed in angrily and shouted at Shishang, Lingxi, you bullied Qiqi again? Shishang was speechless. Wait a long time. When did I bully the female lead? Can you be reasonable? All right. Beasts are unreasonable. Come out. Seeing that Shishang was unmoved, Bayan became even angrier. Go and apologize to Qiqi. Do you think I'll go out just because you want me to? Shishang rolled his eyes. She didn't do anything to the female lead. Why should she apologize? There were cat biscuits. Bayan, I'm fine. Lin Qiqi stuck her head in from outside and explained, I was just blinded by sand just now. I'm fine now. Bayan turned his head and his expression softened. Qiqi, don't protect her. I have to teach her a good lesson today. It really has nothing to do with Lingxi. Lin Qiqi was a little anxious. In the end, her eyes turned even redder as if she was about to cry. The female lead was crying. How could this be? Bayan hurriedly went out to hug her and coax her. Don't be afraid. Although she's my younger sister, I won't allow her to bully you. With me around, she won't dare to rebel. How would you know if I dare to overturn the heavens? Shishang interrupted, ruining the mood. Lingxi, I'll deal with you later. Bayan glared at her angrily and jumped into the cave next door with Lin Qiqi in his arms. I'm so scared. D****. After a while, Shishang heard a voice from next door. Was he coaxing her into bed? You're amazing, brother. Can't you find a place with no one around? The soundproofing is really bad. She was still a minor. Shishang could only hypnotize himself. Proper orc culture was definitely not like this. This was a broken world. It was all fake. It was all fake. Shishang waited for the music to end before the music finally stopped. Bayan didn't come over. Instead, he summoned a few generals of the White Tiger tribe for a meeting. Although the White Tiger tribe was called a tribe, there weren't many tigers. They only occupied a mountain. Most of the troops lived halfway up the mountain, and the back of the mountain was actually the peak. Bayan was brave and good at fighting and was famous in this area. He was the ideal mating partner of many females. After all, since they could transform, there was no such thing as being unable to mate across species. Of course, most beast men couldn't accept cross-species mating. After all, it would affect their offspring. However, this didn't stop the females from considering Bayan as their ideal mating partner. Even if they couldn't get his body, couldn't they just fantasize about him? Lingxi, it's time to eat. A beast man brought food into the cave. At noon, they didn't bring her anything. She didn't know if they forgot or Bayan ordered them to. Sher Shang smelled blood before the beast men came close. The beast men put down the food and went out. Sher Shang could vaguely see that it was a piece of bloody meat in the dim light outside. As for what kind of meat it was, sorry, she couldn't recognize it. They actually let me eat it raw. Carnivorous beast men eat raw meat. The system appeared, rejoicing in his misfortune. But face, we need to talk about life. No, host, I'm very busy. I won't talk about it. The system immediately went offline. Retarded butt face. Sher Shang sat for a while and smelled barbecued meat outside. She walked to the cave and looked outside. There was a fire in the distance. 2 figures sat in front of the fire. One was big and one was small. It was easy to tell who they were. Sher Shang pursed her lips and looked at her bloody dinner. She decided to eat some fruit. She could forget about being treated like a female lead. Cannon fodder was so pitiful. Before she finished eating, Bayan came. The sky was completely dark. There was only a fire in the distance, swaying like a ghost fire. Sher Shang almost stabbed Bayan to death when he entered the room without making a sound. Bayan sat down on a stone bench in the cave. Next to her was a table with a bloody dinner placed on it. Are you on a hunger strike? Bayan looked at the untouched dinner and asked. Sher Shang bit the sour fruit and chewed it. Tell me. Bayan was enraged. Her sister used to be so obedient and sensible. How did she become so unreasonable? I went to the mountain. Some beast men climbed up from the cliff and killed De Zhuang. But you still have to tell me, why did you go to the mountain? De Zhuang died in a different way. She also had her hairpin. Like the beast men outside, Bayan suspected that it had something to do with Sher Shang. I don't know. I was beaten silly by you. Sher Shang threw away the fruit core. Bayan couldn't breathe. After a long time he said, Lingxi, you weren't like this in the past. Sher Shang smiled. You weren't like this in the past either. Before the female lead came, Bayan was definitely a good brother. Even if the original owner did something wrong, he would tolerate the original owner unconditionally. Now that the female lead was here, Bayan would throw a tantrum at the original owner. It would be strange if the original owner could tolerate it. You're targeting Chi-Chi everywhere. Chi-Chi didn't bicker with you, but you're still pestering her endlessly. Do you think you're right? I don't know. Whether she was wrong or not was the original owner's business. She just wanted to do a mission and break up the couple so that she wouldn't take the blame. Bayan was speechless. Bayan stood up and said firmly, Apologize to Chi-Chi tomorrow. I'll let bygones be bygones. Sher Shang was speechless. I won't take the blame for the original owner. Furthermore, I didn't do anything just now. Who knew why the female lead was crying? I definitely won't take the blame. Bayan didn't hear Sher Shang's reply and couldn't help but raise his voice. Did you hear that? I'm not going. Your wings have hardened. I can't control you anymore, right? Bayan slammed the stone table. The meat on the stone table was shaken to the ground and rolled into a circle of dust. That's right. I can fly now. You don't have to worry about me. Not only could I fly, but I could also fly. Show me how you're doing. Bayan was furious. If I fly just because you tell me to, how embarrassing would that be? Beg me. If you beg me, I'll fly for you to see. Bayan was speechless. He was so angry. Bayan pointed at Sher Shang for a long time and didn't say anything. He left the cave angrily. The narrow cave immediately became much more spacious. The air seemed to circulate. However, the air was filled with the smell of blood. Sher Shang looked at the cave and sighed in melancholy. The life of this primitive person wasn't easy either. Chapter 1290. Sher Shang woke up in the middle of the night because she had to pee. She wondered how this place could solve her physiological needs. She recalled how the host solved her physiological needs. She fell silent. As a person with status, How could he do such a thing? Sher Shang lifted her skirt and walked out of the cave. Maybe because Bayan said that Dazhuang's death had nothing to do with her, the orcs guarding outside had left. She jumped out of the cave and walked toward the woods in the distance. Sher Shang lifted her skirt and stood up after finally settling the most important matter in her life. Rustle, rustle, rustle. No. Not here. Ah. Intermittent sounds came from deeper in the woods. Sher Shang. She held the tree trunk and was silent for a moment. If she went to wake Bayan up to catch them in the act, would she beat her up? The one with the female lead must be Feng Yen, the second male lead, the orc that the host liked. Sher Shang was too lazy to watch the female lead and the second male lead. She lifted her skirt and walked out of the woods and returned to her cave. Bayan's cave was quiet. She didn't know how the female lead sneaked out. That was awesome. The female lead. Sher Shang lay for a while and heard a sound coming from outside. So fast. The second male lead couldn't do it. As an orc, it was normal for him to last a few hours, right? Have you ever seen animals copulate for a few hours? Ma Dao Kue. The system searched the database and read the note. This species has been extinct for a long time. Host, what do you read all day? Can't you read something good for your health? I read everything. Sher Shang crossed her legs. But face, I know you're not educated. I've never been to school. That's why you're so stupid. Master, don't stop me. I'm going to kill the host. Early the next morning, Sher Shang wanted to find water to wash up. But after walking around, she remembered that there was a shortage of water here. The water they drank was spring water from the mountain. But if they wanted to take a bath or wash their faces, they had to go to the river at the foot of the mountain to get water. It would take more than an hour to go back and forth. Therefore, these beast men usually went to wash once every few days. Sher Shang put his hands on his hips in melancholy. He couldn't live like this anymore. Lingxi, why are you standing here? An orc had been standing behind her for a long time, but the Sher Shang had no intention of moving aside. He had no choice but to speak up. He was still waiting to fetch water to feed his little brat. Sher Shang turned around and glanced at him. He stepped aside and watched the orc leave with the water. Soon, a few more beast men came to fetch water. After these beast men finished, there was only a little water left in the small pond. A delicate and pretty young man hurriedly ran over and looked into the pool. He was immediately annoyed. I'm late. Sher Shang suddenly stuck out his head and asked, Is there any other water source nearby? The young man was startled. Lingxi, why are you sitting there? Sher Shang was sitting beside a shrub beside the pool. As long as one did not pay attention, they would not be able to see her. Sher Shang said matter-of-factly, This is the only place we can sit. She didn't say anything again. Her sudden appearance scared the beast man to death. The young man composed himself and answered Sher Shang's question. There is a water source nearby, but it's occupied by a very strange beast man. The beast men around it can't beat him. Strange. How strange? I don't know. I've never seen him before. The chief has seen him before. Lingxi, you can ask the chief. The young man looked behind him. Lingxi, I'll go back first. Sher Shang waved his hand. Sher Shang sat for a while, then went to a remote area and sat on his sword to go to the river. The river water was very clear. Sher Shang washed up and caught 2 fish to roast. If she ate that fruit again, she would vomit. From time to time, one could see beast men coming to the river to fetch water. Sher Shang was sitting by the river roasting fish. Naturally, he attracted a lot of attention. Isn't this the little princess of the White Tiger tribe? Why are you eating fish? And cooked fish? Is there something wrong with your brain? A loud voice sounded from behind. Sher Shang turned his head. Not far away, there were 2 female beast men. Their skin was very dark, as if they came from Africa. They were wearing leather skirts sewn with fur. The beast man standing slightly in front with a flower on her head was the daughter of the Black Bear tribe's chief. She was called Xiong Sanmei. She looked okay, but she was very dark. As the saying goes, darkness destroys everything. The other beastman was Xiong Sanmei's follower. She did whatever Xiong Sanmei said and could basically ignore her. Xiong Sanmei and the host always argued every time they met. In the past, it was because the host was prettier than Xiong Sanmei and had a nicer name. Later, it was because Xiong Sanmei fell in love with Bai En. The host said that Xiong Sanmei didn't look at herself and still wanted to covet her brother. I'm talking to you. What kind of tigress are you looking at? Xiong Sanmei put her hands on her hips and looked like a shrew. She looked up and down Shi Shang. What are you wearing? Shi Shang was wearing normal clothes. The beastmen who were fetching water were very curious, but no one dared to ask because of Ling Shi's fierce reputation. Clothes. What clothes? Xiong Sanmei was very curious. Her clothes looked really good. Shi Shang. How could she explain it clearly? Just shut up. Shi Shang didn't say anything. Xiong Sanmei immediately became angry. I haven't seen you for a few days. Why are you pretending to be refined? Your brother Feng Yan isn't here. Shi Shang. Even Xiong Sanmei knew that the host liked Feng Yan. Why didn't brother Feng Yan know? Shi Shang didn't want to talk. She just wanted to eat fish quietly. She was starving. So Shi Shang turned his head and ignored Xiong Sanmei, who knew that Xiong Sanmei would run over and forget about the clothes. Tigress, why are you ignoring me? Could it be that he was rejected? The host and Xiong Sanmei didn't have much of a grudge. At most, they would bicker when they met, but they didn't fight. In the human world, this was a different way of showing friendship. Was I really rejected? Xiong Sanmei laughed with her hands on her hips. Ha 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 ha, tigress. I told you not to be so fierce. Shi Shang. Wait for I to finish eating fish. Seeing that Shi Shang was ignoring her, Xiong Sanmei scratched her face. This tigress wouldn't be shocked, right? When did she not talk back when she said that before? Asterisk, this is a fake group. Mu Bai, Jingjing is mine. Iron Sword, what do you mean yours? You instantly kneeled. Mu Bai, what's wrong with kneeling? It's better than what you did. Iron Sword, I'll kill you. Mu Bai, come on, come on. This gentleman is scared of you. Iron Sword. Master. Mu Bai, hey, if you have votes, vote quickly. Love you guys, system. Fancy vote identification completed. Little Fairy. Be reasonable, I didn't even appear. System, you're here now. Little Fairy. Chapter 1291. Tigress? Xiong Sanmei squatted down like a man. Fortunately, her leather skirt was long enough. Otherwise, Shi Shang would have seen something he shouldn't have. Didn't I say that you failed in courtship? Why are you looking like you're half dead? There are many male orcs in our tribe. You can choose anyone you want. Shi Shang glanced at her. I'm afraid of the dark. Xiong Sanmei was confused. Afraid of the dark? Since when are you afraid of this? Didn't you quarrel with me in the middle of the night? Shi Shang. There was a communication barrier. Grilled fish. Xiong Sanmei's gaze followed Shi Shang to the grilled fish. She pointed at the iron sword curiously. What's this? It's so shiny. It looks so beautiful. Iron Sword, who was roasting the grill, was speechless. Don't talk. I want to be alone. Tigress, what's this? Why haven't I seen it before? Xiong Sanmei was very curious about the iron sword. Iron weapons hadn't appeared yet. These orcs had never seen such a thing. Shi Shang turned the grilled fish over. The sunlight reflected off the iron sword made Xiong Sanmei close her eyes. The aroma of the fish went straight to the tip of her nose. Xiong Sanmei was used to the smell of raw meat. She suddenly realized that it smelled good. There was a fragrance in it that she had never smelled before. Her attention immediately shifted from the iron sword to the grilled fish. Fish could have such a smell. Tigress, where did you get the fire? Xiong Sanmei stared at the grilled fish for a moment. Her attention was attracted by the fire again. Although orcs had shapeshifted, they were naturally afraid of fire. Only in the tribe would they keep the fire. It was difficult to keep the fire. If it went out, they had to exchange it with other tribes. They had to exchange a lot of things. There was a lighter in Shi Shang's space. Would she tell him? Of course not. Shi Shang continued to ignore Xiong Sanmei. Shi Shang didn't say anything. Xiong Sanmei couldn't argue with him alone. She was a little bored. She asked her followers to catch some fish in the river. Shi Shang watched as the orc struggled in the river for a long time but only managed to catch 2. Xiong Sanmei found a branch nearby and skewered the orc with it. She walked over to the Shi Shang and asked, "Tigress, can I light a fire?" Shi Shang took the iron sword away. The fish was ready. Xiong Sanmei did not stand on ceremony and directly put the fish on the fire. She imitated how Shi Shang roasted the fish just now and asked in a gossipy manner, "Tigress, did Feng Yan reject your proposal?" Let me say this once again. I didn't woo Feng Yan, and I wasn't rejected. If you continue to spout nonsense, you'll find your own fire. If you weren't rejected, why are you ignoring me? Are you uncomfortable if I don't quarrel with you? This human, Pui, this orc, is he looking for trouble? Xiong Sanmei scratched her face and muttered, "It's a little unlike you." Usually, he would pinch her whenever he saw her. But now, he was suddenly silent and ignoring her. She was very nervous. Shi Shang snorted coldly. "From now on, I'm going to be a person with class." Xiong Sanmei didn't notice that there was something wrong with Shi Shang's words. Her focus was on class. "What do you mean by class? Where did you learn those words?" Xiong Sanmei's eyes darted around. "Is it that Lin Qiqi?" Xiong Sanmei liked Baian, and Lin Qiqi was naturally a thorn in Xiong Sanmei's side. "What has it got to do with her?" Shi Shang rolled his eyes. "She often comes up with some strange words." Xiong Sanmei muttered, "She charmed brother Baian. She's a vixen. Don't learn bad things from her." Shi Shang was speechless. The word vixen was indeed from ancient times to now. Also, what does she mean by not learning bad things from her? When I'm bad, no one dares to say that they're number one. Do I need to learn from others? When Xiong Sanmei wasn't quarreling, she was a chatterbox. Furthermore, she was a chatterbox whose attention was easily diverted. A second ago, she was still complaining about Lin Qiqi and gnashing her teeth in hatred. In the next second, she jumped onto the grilled fish. "Why does this taste different from yours?" Xiong Sanmei didn't smell any fragrance from her grilled fish and couldn't help but ask Shi Shang curiously. "You're beautiful." Shi Shang threw away the fish bones and pursed his lips into a smile. In the past, Xiong Sanmei would probably jump up if she heard such words. This time, she didn't have the intention to argue with Shi Shang. Instead, she looked at Shi Shang's feet. "When I came over, I saw you scattering something. Give me some." Shi Shang threw the item over. "I'll give it to you. Don't find trouble with me in the future." Xiong Sanmei didn't have any bad intentions, but her skills in scolding others were very high. She didn't want to become a member of a scolding club. She wanted to be a high-class beastman. "If you don't find trouble with me, why should I find trouble with you?" Xiong Sanmei snorted. Shi Shang glanced at Xiong Sanmei and left with the iron sword. Xiong Sanmei was still competing with the condiments that Shi Shang threw at her and ignored Shi Shang. When Shi Shang returned to the tribe, it was already past lunchtime. She slowly climbed up the mountain. "Lingxi, where did you go? The leader was looking for you this morning." A beastman saw her and reminded her. In the beastman tribe, even if she had the identity of a little princess, it was just an identity. She didn't have many privileges. "Why are you looking for me?" Shi Shang bit the foxtail grass and asked that beastman in a hooligan manner. "I don't know." The beastman shook his head. But I see that the leader doesn't look too good. Quickly go and take a look. Don't make the leader angry. Sher Shang walked to Bai An's cave with the foxtail grass in his mouth. Bai An sat at the entrance of the cave and looked around but didn't see Lin Chi-Chi. Lingxi. Bai An called out to her and jumped down from the cave entrance. He asked, "Where did you go?" "Do I need to report to you what I did?" Sher Shang rolled his eyes. Bai An's face darkened. "I asked you to come and apologize to Chi-Chi yesterday. Why didn't you come? I didn't do anything wrong. Why should I apologize?" Why was the male lead so persistent in making him apologize to the female lead? The original owner must have been picked up. "How are you not wrong?" Sher Shang spat out the foxtail grass and put his hands on his hips. "Fine, tell me. What did I do wrong? You bullied Chi-Chi. Which eye of yours saw me bullying your Chi-Chi? You didn't bully Chi-Chi. Why is she crying? Are you blaming me for having a problem with your eyes?" Bai An was so angry that his face turned green. "You're twisting words. Lingxi, if you don't apologize to Chi-Chi today, don't acknowledge me as your older brother." Sher Shang snorted coldly. "You think I want to acknowledge you? You're not qualified to be my older brother. You." Bai An gnashed his teeth and raised his hand to hit Sher Shang again. Lin Chi-Chi probably heard the commotion and came out of the cave. She jogged over and pulled Bai An back. "Why are you quarreling with Lingxi again? Lingxi is still young. Give in to her. What happened yesterday has nothing to do with Lingxi. Why don't you listen? Don't speak up for her. Do you think I don't know what kind of person she is?" "I didn't help." Lin Chi-Chi shook her head and pulled Bai An towards the cave. "Lingxi, speak less. Hurry up and go back. Let's pretend that nothing happened yesterday." Sher Shang was speechless. "No, female lead Sama, explain clearly, what did we do yesterday? What do you mean by this? You make it seem like I really did something to you." Chapter 1292. Lin Chi-Chi was pulled back to the cave by and Sher Shang curled his lips and prepared to return to his cave. Lin Chi-Chi came out of the cave again. "Lingxi, wait." "What?" A trace of suspicion flashed across Lin Chi-Chi's eyes. She asked tentatively, "Lingxi, did something happen to you recently?" "What can happen to me?" Sher Shang's lips curved into a mocking smile. "Did you really not encounter anything strange? If not, then where did the clothes on her come from?" Lin Chi-Chi was conflicted. She wanted to know if there were humans in this world. Sher Shang raised his eyebrows. "Why should I tell you? Lingxi, I'm just concerned." Lin Chi-Chi pinched the fur on the side. "I know that you don't like me being with your brother, but we're already together now. I've always treated you as a younger sister." Lin Chi-Chi felt a little wronged in her heart. Ever since she came to the White Tiger tribe, she had been treated well. But she teased her time and time again and threw a tantrum at her. She came to an unfamiliar environment, and it was a world where strength was the rule. Her heart was filled with confusion and caution. "Stop. If you're together, then be together. You don't have to tell me. I can't control you." Sher Shang shouted for her to stop. "Don't appear in front of me if there's nothing else. Otherwise, Bai An will find trouble with me again." Anyway, whatever the female lead said was right. Whatever she said was wrong. "Lingxi, Chi-Chi is talking to you properly. What's with your attitude?" Bai An stood outside the cave and shouted at Sher Shang. Sher Shang's temper flared up and he shouted back, "What's with my attitude? What did I do to her? Did I hit her or scold her? Are you *king crazy?" The male lead would fall ill at the slightest disagreement. He would be fine after a beating. Seeing that they were about to quarrel again, Lin Chi-Chi hurriedly went back to comfort Bai, and Sher Shang was about to make a move when a sharp cry suddenly came from the sky. "Fire, fire!" Sher Shang raised her head to look at the sky. A large bird was flying across the sky. The voice came from its beak. Jopu Mountain is on fire, it's on fire. The large bird whistled as it flew over their heads, its voice fading into the distance. The beast men who heard the sound all looked in the direction of Jopu Mountain. That direction was the river that Sher Shang had gone to before. At this time, the sky over there was thick smoke billowing, and flames could be vaguely seen. What's going on? Why is it on fire? I don't see any heavenly flames either. Leader, what should we do? The orcs all looked at Bayan. A fire in the forest was a very serious matter. The nearby mountains were all connected together. If it really burned, all of them would suffer. Bayan immediately suppressed the anger in his heart and calmly ordered the beast men to follow him to Jopu Mountain to take a look. Bayan, I'm going too. Lin Chi-Chi jogged after Bayan. What are you going to do? It's very dangerous. Lin Chi-Chi looked determined. I might have a way to put out the fire. Really? Lin Chi-Chi nodded. I won't cause trouble for you. Bring me there to take a look. Okay, but you have to follow me closely. Bayan transformed into his beast form and carried Lin Chi-Chi down the mountain. Soon, he disappeared into the forest with a group of beast men. Sher Shang thought for a while and slowly followed. Bayan and the rest were very fast. Sher Shang walked slowly and fell behind by a lot. Just as she was about to go down a small path, two black figures suddenly rushed down from the weeds above. Ah! Tigress, you scared me to death. Xiong Sanmei saw who it was and patted her chest as she panted heavily. Why are you so nervous? Did you set the fire? Sher Shang looked at Xiong Sanmei in amusement. Jopu Mountain was so close to that river. The place where she started the fire back then was bare. Even if it wasn't extinguished, it couldn't have burned. Only Xiong Sanmei was the most likely. Xiong Sanmei cried and wailed. How would I know that it would burn? She originally wanted to bring the fire seed back, but who knew that it would burn on the way back? You're not allowed to tell anyone. I'm leaving first. Xiong Sanmei ran forward anxiously. You must never tell anyone that you saw me. Sher Shang was speechless. Brat. What a proper brat. When Sher Shang arrived at Jopu Mountain, there were already many beast men by the river. Some were in human form, while others were in beast form. Animals ran down from the burning mountain from time to time. The fire soared into the sky and crackled. One could feel that terrifying temperature from afar. This method is very effective. If you don't have a better method, you can try my method. Lin Chi-Chi's crisp voice traveled over. Will it work? It sounds good, but who knows if it will work? I don't think so. How can it be that easy? The beast men clearly didn't think highly of Lin Chi-Chi's method. What could the female lead do? She wasn't the Dragon King who could summon the wind and rain. At most, she could let these beast men dig an isolation belt. No one has a better idea. Why don't we give it a try? If this fire isn't stopped, it will definitely continue to burn. A man stood up. Sher Shang knew who it was when he heard that voice. The second male lead, Feng Yen. When Feng Yen spoke, the other beast men looked at each other for a moment. All right, let's give it a try. All right. Let's go quickly. The beast men began to follow Lin Chi-Chi's instructions. They first cut down trees and then dug an isolation belt. But things weren't as simple as Lin Chi-Chi thought. There were so many handy tools in the modern world. It wasn't that easy to dig an isolation belt. These beast men didn't have any tools. They could only rely on brute force to cut down trees. They couldn't push down a tree for a long time. Digging an isolation belt was even slower. The fire over there had already burned over, but they hadn't dug over yet. The fire was too big. The beast men could only give up and return to the river. The blazing temperature made them very afraid. I knew it wouldn't work. How can this fire be so easy to extinguish? Sai, what should we do? It wasn't easy for us to settle down, but it's going to be burned away again. I wonder which wicked person set a fire in the mountains. This is to make the nearby beastmen homeless. If I catch him, I'll definitely skin him alive. How detestable. Hearing the curses by her ear, Lin Chi-Chi's expression didn't look good. She forgot that this wasn't the modern world. Without tools, it wasn't that easy to dig an isolation belt. It's fine. Bian patted Lin Chi-Chi's shoulder and comforted her softly. Lin Chi-Chi forced a smile. Hey, look over there. A beastman suddenly pointed at the isolation belt that they had dug just now. The fire burned to the edge and stopped advancing. It was obvious that it was blocked. It's really useful. The beastmen became excited. But it's too slow. This fire burned too quickly. Let's change to a further place. If everyone works together, we should be able to dig an isolation belt. Seeing that the beastmen believed her, Lin Chi-Chi hurriedly spoke. Everyone discussed for a while. This was the only way now. In the end, they all nodded in agreement. Chapter 1293. They chose a place that was a mountain away from the fire and started to dig an isolation belt. The mountain ahead was the White Tiger tribe. If they couldn't stop the fire from spreading, the White Tiger tribe would lose their encampment. Everyone was working hard to dig the isolation belt, and the trees around them kept falling down. Lin Chi-Chi's originally snow-white leather skirt was also a little dirty at this moment. But those two long white legs were still very eye-catching. It made people want to lift her troublesome leather skirt. Shi Shang sat a little further away and watched the show while eating melon seeds. Host, there's a temporary mission. Do you want to accept it? The system suddenly appeared. No. Shi Shang rejected it without thinking. 10,000 points. Shi Shang was speechless. So many points. She only had 1,000 points for completing a mission and 2,000 hidden points. The highest point for a side mission was less than 5,000 points. Now, a temporary mission was actually 10,000 points. But Face, are you out of your mind? Forget it if you don't want to accept it. I'll accept it. Why don't I accept it with so many points? Temporary mission. Extinguish the fire. Shi Shang was speechless. Such high points were actually just for me to be a firefighter? Dog 2, you must be broken. Host, if you attack me like this again, I'll take back the mission. Shi Shang was speechless. Then take it back. You make it sound like I want to accept it so much. Host, I was wrong. Hurry up and start. The system lowered its head without any integrity. Shi Shang snorted. I'm in a bad mood. I don't want to accept it. Let your mouth be cheap, let your mouth be cheap, let your mouth be cheap. The system nagged Shi Shang for a long time, but Shi Shang didn't accept it. The system was so angry that it wanted to commit suicide like Mu Bai. What do you want before you accept it? He regretted his cheap mouth just now. Shi Shang narrowed his eyes and smiled. Tell me, is there anything nearby that can't be destroyed? There must be a conspiracy to give her such high points. Host, you'll really be captured and dissected like this. I didn't say anything, okay? I'm so tired. The system hesitated for a moment. There's a tree on the mountain. If that tree dies, the beastmen within 1,000 miles won't be able to transform anymore. Shi Shang was speechless. What kind of setting was this? I don't know. Anyway, that's how it's set. If I can't transform, then so be it. At most, I'll just be a beast. You will also return to your beast form. What the F***ck, what had changed could change back. That's the setting anyway. The system had nothing to lose. Shi Shang, a poisonous plane. I don't want to be a beast. After finishing the last melon seed, Shi Shang stood up and walked towards the fire. These beast men didn't think Shi Shang had anything to do with this. Shi Shang stabbed the iron sword into the ground and supported it with one hand. His other hand was on his waist. Why should I tell you? Why can't you say it? What if such a powerful thing threatens us? That's right. Lingxi, tell us quickly. What exactly is it? What they were worried about now was that something that could create such a long gully in such a short time would pose a threat to them. Shi Sheng sneered. I won't tell you. Lingxi. Bian berated with a dark face. Don't mess around. Shi Sheng raised his eyebrows. I'm messing around. It's none of your business. If you want to know, I have to tell you. I'm not your encyclopedia. I should have looked for the tree just now. It's not too late to look for the tree now. How about... Host, please pay attention to your thoughts. The system quickly tried to appease her. You've already created the barrier. If you let the fire start, all your efforts would have been in vain. Shi Sheng was speechless. By now, the fire had already spread and was blocked by the barrier. The orcs couldn't help but retreat towards the river. They were afraid of the fire. Asterisk, this is a fake group. Iron sword. I'm probably a fake sword. There's nothing I haven't done before. Little fairy. You're a sword with a story. Mubai, I have wine. Want to join me? Iron sword. I don't talk to people who are instantly defeated. Mubai. We're from the same root. Why are you so anxious to fry each other? Little fairy. I can't not fry it. It tastes better after boiling it. But the votes won't taste good if you keep them. They'll disappear. So, come on, today's votes. Mubai, who told you to beg for votes? Little fairy, whose permission do I need? I'm begging you. Hit me. I'll kill you. Mubai. 2,000 monthly votes. 2,000 monthly votes. 2,000 monthly votes. 2,000 monthly votes. Chapter 1294. When they retreated to the riverside, the orcs began to interrogate Shi Sheng about how the ditch had appeared. Shi Sheng kept his word. The orcs were so angry that they started to cause trouble for Bai and couldn't do anything to Shi Sheng now. She was fuming, but there was nothing she could do. I remember that I saw Ling she start a fire by the riverside at noon. Not long after, the fire started. You didn't set it, did you? Unable to ask where the ravine came from, one of the orcs suddenly spoke up. When I came to get water, I saw Ling she start a fire. I saw it too. One orc after another stepped forward to point out Shi Sheng. Many tribes didn't have fire. Tribes with fires would send orcs to watch over them so that they wouldn't go out. Shi Sheng had attracted a lot of orcs' attention when he started a fire by the riverside. But since he was the little princess of the White Tiger tribe, no orcs dared to ask him anything. Shi Sheng brushed his hair behind his ear. Why did I have to take the blame for Xiong Sonmei's incident? I did start a fire, but I started it by the riverside. How could it have spread to the mountains? Shi Sheng sneered. Are your brains for decoration? Who knows if you set it on fire? Shi Sheng looked at the orc who spoke. I didn't put out the fire when I left. I can say that you set it on fire. Don't talk nonsense if you don't have evidence. The orc immediately retorted. Shi Sheng nodded in agreement. Yes, don't talk nonsense if you don't have evidence. Did you see me set it on fire with your own eyes? Or did you hear me do it with your own ears? The orcs were speechless. They really didn't see her. They only saw her start a fire. Why didn't you put out the fire? The orcs couldn't convince Shi Sheng. What does it have to do with whether I put out the fire or not? Even if you didn't set it on fire, would this have happened if you put it out? Shi Sheng looked at the orc and said sarcastically, Can you blame the rabbit for running fast if you can't catch it? The orcs were speechless. After a long while, the orc said, I'm a vegetarian. Shi Sheng was speechless. Wow, the orcs were amazing. They were vegetarians, yet they could still mingle with these carnivores. Weren't they afraid of being eaten? Shi Sheng later discovered that these beast men had an unwritten rule. Any shape-shifting orc or carnivorous orc would never capture a vegetarian orc. Of course, fighting and killing didn't count. However, they wouldn't eat those that were killed. That's enough, stop arguing. A big man with dark skin stood up. It doesn't matter if she set the fire or not. She was the one who started the fire. The White Tiger tribe has to take responsibility for this. Shisheng knew who he was at first glance. He looked like Xiong Sanmei and was as black as a coal ball. He was blind in one eye. It was said that he was blinded when he fought when he was young. Later on, the beast men called him Blind Bear. Why? The White Tiger tribe was unconvinced. She started the fire. It's her responsibility, Blind Bear shouted in a hoarse voice. What are you shouting for? Are you trying to compete? Shisheng glared at Blind Bear. Your daughter left after me. Are you sure she didn't set the fire? Blind Bear was shocked. What did you say? Xiong Sanmei was there too. You should have seen it, right? Shisheng's gaze swept across the orcs. Two beast men raised their hands. Xiong Sanmei was indeed with Ling Shi. They even talked, but Ling Shi left first. Nonsense. You and third sister have never been on good terms. Are you trying to slander her? Blind Bear shouted angrily. Shisheng shrugged. There were orcs who saw it. It's not just my side of the story. You can't deny it just because Xiong Sanmei is your daughter, right? Blind Bear, call Xiong Sanmei over and ask her, Bian said. With so many orcs watching, Blind Bear could only ask the orcs to call Xiong Sanmei. But the orcs who went to call Xiong Sanmei came back and said they couldn't find her. She ran away. Shisheng spread his hands in amusement. You shut up. The Blind Bear's anger soared to the heavens. Have you searched everywhere? Yes, but we couldn't find her. If they couldn't find the orcs involved, it was useless for Blind Bear to deny it. In the end, they decided to find Xiong Sanmei first. As for the ravine, Shisheng didn't say anything. They couldn't tie her up and interrogate her. Everyone could only guess. The orcs gradually dispersed. After working for so long, they were already exhausted. Ling Shi, were you the one who set this fire? Bian waited for the beast men to disperse before questioning Shisheng with a dark expression. I said I'm not. It's up to you whether you believe me or not. Shisheng pulled out her sword and walked back. It's best if you didn't, Bian said from behind. If you did, I can't protect you. Shisheng snorted. You never thought of protecting me. What's that in your hand? Bian's voice suddenly sounded again. Shisheng turned around. Sword. She waved the iron sword twice and the saplings by the side of the road were cut in half. Do you see that? If anyone dares to provoke me in the future, this will be the outcome. Iron Sword was speechless. Two innocent saplings. Master, don't you think you weren't domineering at all just now? Weren't you convincing at all? What do you know? Apart from the female lead, they have never seen such a high-end tool like you. Saplings are enough. Sure enough, Bian's expression turned ugly. He stared at the iron sword in her hand. A thought flashed past his mind, but he didn't catch it. You know that this thing is called a sword? Lin Chi couldn't help but ask. Where did you get it? It's none of your business. Shisheng kept his sword and turned to leave. Lin Chi bit her lower lip and said to Bian, Bian, the wound on Dazhuang's body matches the sword in Ling Shi's hand. Lin Chi's reminder made Bian suddenly enlightened. You mean that she killed Dazhuang? No, that's not what I meant. Lin Chi hurriedly shook her head. I'm worried that Ling Shi met some strange person. Her temperament has changed too much recently. Human. When Bian met Lin Chi, he heard her say that there was another kind of creature called a human. They were born like this and didn't know how to transform. Furthermore, Lin Chi didn't know how to transform either. That kind of sword is a very common weapon for humans. Lin Chi nodded. If Ling Shi really met someone, that ravine must be related to that person. There were some things in this world that couldn't be explained with common sense. For example, what did beastmen rely on to transform? In those novels, animals definitely had to cultivate if they wanted to transform. This was what they called cultivation. If she really came to such a world where she could turn the clouds and rain with a flip of her hand, it would be easy for a cultivator to create such a ravine. Bayan stared thoughtfully at Sher Shang, who had already disappeared into the distance. Don't talk nonsense about this. I'll go back and ask her. * Keep the 2,000 monthly votes for the extra chapters well. Those who have votes, vote quickly. Chapter 1295. The riverside gradually quieted down and the sky dimmed. One side of the ravine was lush and green, while the other side was lit up by flames. A man stood on the other side of the river with his hands behind his back. He looked at the other side from afar, his eyes burning with passion. The entire river was dyed orange. The wind blew across the river, making it sparkle. Flutter, the eagle circled in the sky, landed behind the man, and turned into a human. King, I've found out. Yes. The shapeshifter replied respectfully, she's from the White Tiger tribe. Should I bring her back? Little tiger. The man murmured. After a moment of silence, he turned and walked into the darkness. His voice came through the night wind. No need. In the middle of the night, Sher Shang woke up because of the need to pee again. She sat up and scratched her head in annoyance. Was there something wrong with her body? She only drank a little water at night. Why did she need to pee? Sher Shang couldn't hold it anymore. She jumped out of the cave and went to the forest to solve her life problem. This time, she didn't meet the female lead, but she met Xiong Sanmei. Sher Shang pulled up her pants and stood up, only to see Xiong Sanmei sneakily heading towards the tribe with that lackey. Xiong Sanmei! Sher Shang shouted. Xiong Sanmei screamed in fright, but she quickly covered her mouth and turned around. The forest was dark, but Sher Shang was dressed differently from the others. Xiong Sanmei recognized her at a glance. She rushed over and wanted to shout, but she was afraid that she would attract the shapeshifters of the White Tiger tribe. She gritted her teeth and said, "Didn't you promise me that you wouldn't tell anyone?" "I didn't promise you." Xiong Sanmei was the one talking the whole time. "When did she promise?" "You." Xiong Sanmei pointed at Sher Shang. "Why are you so disloyal? I helped you hide from your brother." Sher Shang spread her hands innocently. "Your father wanted to drag me down. If I didn't betray you, I would have been in trouble. If it weren't for the blind bear, she wouldn't have betrayed Xiong Sanmei." Xiong Sanmei's eyes widened. After a while, she thumped her chest and stamped her feet. "My father is trying to kill me." Xiong Sanmei muttered to herself for a while before looking up at the Sher Shang. "No, I have to run away from home." She didn't wait for Sher Shang's response. She hurried back with her followers and soon disappeared into the night. This brat, because Xiong Sanmei had run away, everyone knew that it was most likely related to her. As her father, Blind Bear had to take responsibility for his daughter. In the end, the group of beastmen discussed and decided that the Black Bear tribe and the White Tiger tribe would each take half of the responsibility. They had to help the nearby tribes rebuild their tribes and provide them with rations. The conflicts between the tribes were of no use at this time. They also had rules here. Bayan was so angry that he rushed into the Sher Shang cave and roared at the Sher Shang. Sher Shang went in one ear and out the other. Occasionally, he would mock Bayan, making her speechless. In the end, Bayan said, "Go hunting with me tomorrow." The White Tiger tribe was in charge of bringing food to those beast men, while the Black Bear tribe was in charge of rebuilding their tribe. The next day, Sher Shang was woken up at dawn. All the males in the tribe wanted to go out. Because females were relatively rare, all the beast men in the tribe held onto them and wouldn't let them go out to hunt. But if any female wanted to go, the males wouldn't refuse. Of course, the females who went usually stood at the back. It was similar to going to inspect the army. "Lingxi, are you going hunting too?" A female beastman stood under her cave. Lin Chi-Chi seems to be going too. She's so weak. Why is she going? Shi Shang put on his coat and came out. He looked down at the female beastman. You're talking as if you can do anything if you go. The female beastman was speechless. Shi Shang jumped down in front of her. The female beastman immediately followed her. Lingxi, what are you wearing? It looks so good. You look even better in it. The female beastmen in the tribe often urged the original owner to do some despicable things. This was one of them. Lingxi, do you still have it? Lend it to me to wear. The female beastman reached out to touch Shi Shang's clothes. No. Shi Shang turned to the side and avoided her hand. Lingxi, I'm just borrowing it to wear. It's not like I won't return it to you. Why are you so stingy? The female beastman was a little unhappy. Shi Shang was speechless. Can you return it after wearing it? In the original owner's memories, this female beastman often took things from her. Sometimes, she would take food from the original owner. She said that she was borrowing it, but in reality, she didn't return it. The original owner was coaxed by her words in the past. Now, she still wanted to coax her. Dream on. She wondered if this female beastman had anything to do with the original owner that night. Shi Shang asked directly, "Where were you that night?" The female beastman asked, "Which night?" "The night I was beaten up by an, in the past, when it was time to eat, this beastman would come to the original owner's cave to talk. Then, when the food was delivered, she wouldn't be polite and used it. But that night, she didn't seem to come. After that, the original owner was called over by an, I'm at home." The female beastman's expression didn't change. "Why are you asking this?" Shi Shang retracted his gaze. "Nothing." Shi Shang walked towards the large group that had gathered in front. "Hey, Lingxi, are you going to borrow it or not?" "No." The female beastman said a few unpleasant words from behind. Shi Shang couldn't be bothered with her and walked straight to the large group. Bayan thought that she would have to call her, but who knew that she would actually come herself? "Let's go." Bayan waved her hand. The beast men immediately ran down the mountain. One by one, they transformed into their beast forms and quickly fled into the forest. The hunting ground was fixed. There was no need to lead the way. They could just gather there later. Bayan returned to her original form and hunched Lin Chi-Chi, who was like a white lotus, onto her back. She turned to look at Shi Shang. "Why aren't you leaving yet?" Shi Shang walked past Bayan calmly. Lin Chi-Chi stared at her back and suddenly leaned over to whisper into Bayan's ear. Then, she jumped down and ran back. Seeing that no one was paying attention to her, she climbed into the cave where Shi Shang lived. At a glance, there was nothing in the cave. Lin Chi-Chi searched carefully but didn't see that sword. Strange. Where did she hide the sword? There was no place to hide such a long sword in this cave. She even looked at the top of the cave, but she didn't see that sword. Lin Chi-Chi was afraid that beast men would come over and didn't dare to stay any longer. She came out carefully and ran to Bayan's side to climb onto his back. "If you're not feeling well, you won't be going," Bayan said worriedly. "I'm fine." Lin Chi-Chi shook her head. "Let's go." Bayan ran down the mountain. Lin Chi-Chi hugged his neck to prevent herself from falling. "Bayan, did you ask her about the origin of that sword?" The wind blew Lin Chi-Chi's voice away. "I did, but she didn't say. Lingxi has been strange recently. I have a bad feeling. I keep feeling that something is going to happen. Don't worry. I'm here." "Yes." Chapter 1296. In the wilderness, the White Tiger Tribe's beast men had all arrived. Shi Shang didn't appear for a long time. Bayan got the other beast men to start hunting while he and Lin Chi-Chi waited for Shi Shang. However, Shi Shang didn't appear until noon. His hair was wet. It was obvious that he had gone to do something. Shi Shang was chewing on a bright red fruit. It tasted like an apple, but the core inside was like a peach core. Seeing her leisurely appearance, Bayan was so angry that his stomach hurt. "We've been waiting for you here for so long. You actually went to wash your hair? Why are you waiting for me?" Shi Shang looked at Bayan in confusion. "You're not asking me to go hunting, right?" Bayan frowned and said angrily, "You caused this trouble. Why aren't you going?" Shi Shang curled his lips. Which female in the tribe had hunted before? Even if they had hunted before, it was only when the male had ground the prey to the last bit of blood before the female beastman pretended to give the last blow. "I'm not going." Shi Shang sat on a protruding rock and nibbled on her fruit. "Bayan, forget it." Lin Chichi pulled Bayan. "I'll go with you." Lin Chichi comforted Bayan and half dragged him away. Shi Shang sat for a while before an orc returned carrying a bison. There were bite marks on the bison's abdomen. One could see its intestines and blood. "Lingxi." The orc threw the bison down and walked to Shi Shang. "Don't be angry with the leader. He asked you to come because he wanted the other beast men in the tribe to have nothing to say." Shi Shang looked up at him. The orc in front of him had strong facial features and looked very upright. He wasn't wearing anything on his upper body and was stained with blood. Beads of sweat rolled down his abdominal muscles. This orc was called Bai Yuan. He was Bai An's right-hand man and was very trusted by Bai An. He treated the original owner quite well. Shi Shang's gaze swept from his face to his feet and he casually nodded. "Then, stay here and watch. I'll continue." Bai Yuan forced a smile. "If you're hungry, eat some first." Shi Shang glanced at the bloody bison and continued eating his fruit in silence. After Bai Yuan came back, more and more beast men came back with their prey. Most of them came in groups. There were no beast men like Bai Yuan who came back alone. When the orcs saw Shi Shang sitting there, some of them looked unhappy, but some of them greeted her. "She only knows how to cause trouble all day long. If it wasn't for the leader, she wouldn't have it easy. She even goes against the leader all day long. She doesn't know how lucky she is. Cut it out. Why can't I say it? Look at what she's done. If it weren't for her, we wouldn't have to work so hard now. Alright, let's go." The complaining orc was forcefully dragged away. "Ling Shi, don't listen to their nonsense." The youth behind them threw down a small deer in his hand. Xiaolu's neck was bitten off. His eyes were wide open, and he died with remaining grievances. What a scary world. Shi Shang shifted his gaze to the young man's face. "Why are you here?" In modern times, she would be considered underage. It is illegal to use child labor. She would be invited for tea. The young man smiled honestly. "My father told me to learn from him. Look, I caught this myself." He pointed at the small deer on the ground with a proud expression. "Very impressive." Shi Shang felt that there was nothing else she could say other than this. Should she say that the bite was too ugly and that it was even stained with saliva? The young man was embarrassed by the compliment. He scratched his head. "Then I'll continue." After the young man left, Shi Shang was left alone. She looked up at the sky. The sky was blue, completely different from the industrial polluted and foggy sky of modern times. This was probably the only good thing about ancient times. However, it was useless. So boring. Several eagles were circling in the sky. Shi Shang stared at them for a while, then took out a slingshot from her space and pulled out a few stones from the ground. "Host, are you kidding? Can this thing hit an eagle that high?" Shi Shang aimed at an eagle. "Do you want to bet?" "No, I won't bet. The host is so confident. She can definitely hit it." "Coward." Shi Shang released her hand. The stone shot out quickly and hit a bird that flew over Shi Shang's head. What happened to hitting an eagle? Shi Shang went to pick up the bird. "I didn't say I wanted to hit an eagle. That thing flies so high. Do you think I'm stupid? Then why did you call me a coward?" "If you weren't a coward, you would have won now." "Who asked you to have such a domineering look of, I want to hit it?" It's just a matter of lifting a finger? Shi Shang shook her head and said, "You'll never be able to learn how to act cool like me." Ha ha. When it comes to acting cool, I only admire my host. Shi Shang was so bored that she hit all the birds nearby, so no birds dared to come over. Even if there are no requirements for a game, the requirements for a self-created game must be met. Hashtag my host is addicted to the game and can't extricate herself. Hashtag when Shi Shang looked up again, she found that 2 of the eagles circling in the sky were missing. If they hadn't flown so high, she might have been able to shoot them down. Do eagles eat meat? Shi Shang held her chin and thought for a moment. It should be food. She looked at the prey next to her, dragged one to a more open area, and threw it over there. The eagles in the sky. What did she mean? Was she tempting them? No, she had to resist the temptation. In the wasteland further away, 2 eagles appeared one after another. They landed on a hillside and transformed into human forms. They knelt down respectfully. King. The man sat cross-legged on the hillside. He was wearing a feather robe woven from feathers. The magnificent blue and deep black intertwined. A gentle breeze blew on the wasteland, blowing his feather robe and tangling his unbound hair, revealing his beautiful features. His eyes were silent as he looked into the distance. His thin lips were slightly pursed and curved. He was like a flower that stood alone in the wasteland. In that wasteland, he was so magnificent that people couldn't take their eyes off him. This was how a beauty should be. The man's voice sounded after a while. What's the matter? Ling, she seems to have discovered us, the orc on the left said hesitantly. Really? The other orc added. I'm not sure, but she aimed at us and hit a passing bird in the end. Maybe it's just a coincidence. The man remained silent. A gentle breeze blew around them, rustling softly. The orc on the left couldn't help but say, King, if you like her, just take her back. Bian wouldn't dare to refuse. Why do you want us to spy on her? The orc on the right immediately pinched the orc on the left and glared at him. You're crazy. How dare you comment on the king's decision? The orc on the left was annoyed. He had blurted out those words without thinking. The man stood up from the ground. His feather robe fluttered in the wind. Only then did they see that it was a cloak. The man held the corner of the cloak and moved it slightly to the side, blocking the view inside. The man's gentle voice came with the wind. He faintly smiled. Her claws are sharp. Chapter 1297. Shi Shang waited for a long time and realized that those eagles didn't come down. Indeed, in this world, animals were all *king smart. She went to drag the prey back. Lingxi, bad news. Shi Shang had just dropped the prey. The young man stumbled over from afar. Lingxi, something happened to the leader. Huh? Shi Shang tilted his head and saw the young man running closer. He seemed to be injured and his breathing was rapid. The young man ran in and fell to the ground. The leader is surrounded by long-tailed apes. Lingxi, quickly find the other beast men to save the leader. Don't go alone. Go find the other beast men. Don't go alone. The young man kept repeating that he didn't want Shi Shang to go alone and asked her to call for the beast men. Shi Shang was speechless. As a tiger, couldn't he defeat a few monkeys? He wasn't Mount Tai. No, why were there monkeys in this wilderness? Even if they were looking for food, they couldn't find it in this wilderness, right? This didn't make sense. The young man was injured. He originally wanted to find the other beast men, but he might not be able to hold on until he found the other beast men, so he came to find Shi Shang first and asked her to ask for help. It would be better if the male and female leads died. Why save ghosts? If she didn't save them, she would watch the show. Host, your thoughts are especially dangerous. When aren't my thoughts dangerous? It seemed that there really weren't any. She dared to let go of herself in front of Feng Ci, let alone others. No, host, what right do you have to be so smug? Host, is your face made of diamond? I should go offline to buffer myself. Seeing that Sher Shang wasn't moving, the young man urged anxiously, Lingxi, go quickly. Go, go, go. Sher Shang took 2 steps and turned to ask the young man, which way? The young man pointed in a direction. Before Sher Shang could get close, she heard the screams of apes. She climbed over a hill and saw the battle on the wilderness at a glance. Bayan was surrounded by 3, especially huge monkeys. The monkeys were at least as big as 2 people stacked together. Their tails were very long, so they were called long-tailed apes. The way they bared their teeth looked ferocious. These monkeys were really Mount Tai. Bayan's snow-white fur was already stained with blood. He was in a sorry state. Lin Chi-Chi didn't know if she had gone to look for help, but she didn't see anyone. The monkey launched an all-out attack on Bayan. The cries of the tiger and monkey resounded throughout the wasteland. Sher Shang clicked his tongue and sat on the hillside to watch the show. It was a rare sight to see a monkey fighting a tiger. Host, I'm not a monkey. It's the same anyway. Sher Shang stroked the melon seeds. Didn't you go offline? You can pretend that I'm offline. Sher Shang. Awesome my butt face. The combined combat strength of the 3 monkeys definitely far exceeded Bayan's. Yet, Bayan was still alive and was barely holding on. One of the monkeys slapped Bayan's abdomen. Bayan staggered and his body tilted. This gave the other monkey a chance. It immediately stepped forward and clawed at Bayan with its sharp claws. The 3rd monkey quickly lifted Bayan into the air and smashed him onto the ground. Bayan tried to stand up, but he was exhausted. The 3 monkeys approached Bayan and seemed to have said something to him. Then, they prepared to give him the final blow. At the critical moment, Lin Chi-Chi rushed over with the White Tiger Tribe's beast men and saved Bayan in time. He knew it. When the protagonist was about to die, someone would always come to save him. It was all a trap. Sher Shang sighed in melancholy. Why didn't she have such a powerful halo? When have you died? I relied on myself. Who saved me? Sher Shang retorted. He was actually speechless. When will you give me the newbie gift bag? Can't you forget this? Is it interesting? Is it interesting? Sher Shang gritted his teeth. No, I have to remember this forever. Everyone else has a newbie gift bag. Why don't I have one? I'm not convinced. I don't have anyone else. The system wanted to roar. She was its only host. Where did the others come from? Don't make me a cuckold. The ending wasn't good. The 3 monkeys could defeat Bayan, but they couldn't defeat so many White Tiger Tribe's beast men. They left dejectedly. When they left, they didn't forget to say that this matter wasn't over. Bayan was seriously injured, so the beast men could only send him back first. Everyone in the White Tiger Tribe, young and old, surrounded by Anne's cave. Will the leader be fine? He went out fine. Why did he come back like this? If something happens to the leader, what should we do? What exactly is going on? Explain clearly. All sorts of voices spread. Sher Shang sat outside her cave and propped his chin up as he looked over at Bayan's cave. The beast men over there were also very confused. When they went over, Bayan was already like that. They didn't know why the long-tailed ape attacked Bayan either. The only person who knew was probably Lin Chi-Chi. But now that Lin Chi-Chi was in the cave, no one could ask. Everyone could only wait anxiously. Bai Yuan only came out late at night. The leader's life is temporarily in danger. It's good that he's fine. It's good that he's fine. I was really scared to death. Fortunately, the leader is fine. After comforting the beast men, Bai Yuan looked at Sher Shang, who was still sitting outside. He thought for a while, walked over, and looked up at him. Lingxi, were you frightened? Sher Shang was speechless. Which eye of yours looks like I was frightened? It's okay. The leader will be fine. Don't worry. Bai Yuan comforted Sher Shang like a big brother. It's been a tiring day. Go back and rest. I'll take care of the leader. Shang couldn't help but roll his eyes. Who was worried about the male lead? Brother Bai Yuan. Lin Chichi's voice came from the cave. Bai Yuan replied, I'll go in first. Shang watched Bai Yuan enter the cave. She sat for a while and prepared to go back to sleep. From the corner of her eye, she saw a figure constantly talking to the beast man guarding Bai An's cave. He seemed to be begging for something, but that beast man kept shaking his head. Shang jumped down and the beast man immediately lowered his head. When the beast man who was begging saw him, he also lowered his head. Where's your son? Shang stood still in front of that beast man. The beast man didn't know why Shang asked this and stuttered, At home. Lead the way. Where did he make a mistake? The beast man became even more nervous. No, lead the way. It wasn't a mistake. The beast man was flattered and hurriedly led the way. The young man's name was Bai Xian. His mother had died of illness, leaving only him and his father. Female beast men sometimes had several partners, but there were also some who only chose one partner. In this world, as long as you were good-looking and strong, regardless of whether you were a female or a male, you could have multiple partners. If you weren't good-looking and didn't have strength, then the status of the female was higher. The male could only be chosen by the female. Bai Xian's mother was very beautiful, but she only chose his father as her partner. If she hadn't died, this family would have had a good life in the tribe. Bai Xian's father brought Shang to a remote cave. There was no light here. Before he entered, he felt a wave of humidity. There was a faint smell of blood. Chapter 1298. Tigers had night vision, but the beast men seemed to have improved this ability. They could see even in the dark. Bai Xian's father walked into the cave skillfully and cleared away the things blocking the way. Then he invited Shang in. There were 2 stone platforms in the cave. Bai Xian was lying on the smaller stone bed. He was lying on his stomach, revealing the hideous wound on his back. The wound looked untreated. How long had he been back? You didn't apply any medicine? Bai Xian's father shook his head. We don't have any medicine. I wanted to ask the chief to give me some, but he was rejected. Medicine was also in short supply in this era. It was not because of the shortage of herbs, but because they did not recognize those herbs. The herbs that were effective for treating wounds were passed down from generation to generation. Everyone used the same method, so those herbs were definitely in short supply. It was already good enough for the chief of a tribe to have medicine. Bring some water in and wash his wound. This. Bai Xian's father hesitated. The water was for drinking. How could it be used to wash a wound? Do you want to see him die? Bai Xian's father immediately shook his head and took the water out of the cave. At worst, he would go to the river tomorrow to get some water. Shang instructed Bai Xian's father to clean Bai Xian's wound. Then he took out alcohol from his space to disinfect it. When the alcohol was poured on the wound, Bai Xian was awakened by the pain. Bai Xian's father was so frightened that his hands trembled. The alcohol was poured on Bai Xian's wound again. Bai Xian groaned and fainted from the pain. When Bai Xian's father finished cleaning Bai Xian, he was almost exhausted. There was a sound in the cave. He turned around abruptly. Shang came in with a bunch of green plants. He did not notice when Shang went out. Shang threw the herbs on the ground and picked them for a while. Crush these and apply them to his wound. Change them every day. Boil the rest. Let him eat it. There was nothing in the tribe that could be used to boil medicine. Anyway, they were not humans. They could eat it directly. Shang finished his instructions and turned to leave. It's his bad luck if he dies. Shang walked out of the cave. Bai Xian's father chased after him. Lingxi, thank you. Bai Xian's father also doubted Shang's words. However, when he thought of Shang's calm and collected manner, he felt that he could give it a try. Anyway, he had no other choice now. Misfortunes never come singly. Before Bayan was out of danger, the three monkeys led an army to attack the mountain. The main force attacking the mountain was not only the three monkeys' army, but also the Crow Snake tribe. The leader of the Black Snake tribe coveted Lin Chi-Chi and had been taught a lesson by Bayan previously. This time, he took the opportunity to collude with the long-tailed ape and was bound to destroy the White Tiger tribe. He heard that the three monkeys fought with Bayan because of Lin Chi-Chi. Therefore, this was actually a war caused by women. Flip the table. The female lead was a femme fatale. Why didn't anyone do anything for her? Was she not a femme fatale? With your character, who would dare to go up against you if you weren't of the same caliber? For more information, please refer to the collection of Mubai's Instant Kneel #Shirshang. Forget it, one is enough. Shirshang shook off these strange thoughts and continued to think about what had happened just now. If they won, how would the long-tailed ape leader and the crow snake leader distribute Lin Chi-Chi? At that time, they might have to fight again. Bai Yuan brought a portion of the tribe's beast men down the mountain. The others surrounded the tribe's empty space and discussed. At this moment, Bayan was injured and foreign enemies were attacking. The beast men who didn't go down the mountain looked a little flustered. The crow snake tribe and the long-tailed ape tribe came prepared. In the evening, the White Tiger tribe's beast men retreated up the mountain. The beast men waiting for news in the open space immediately surrounded them and threw questions at those beast men. How is it? Did you win? Did they leave? Bai Yuan gestured for everyone to quiet down. Everyone looked at each other and waited for him to give a speech. Bai Yuan swept his gaze across the beast men and said in a low voice, "There are too many of them. We might have to avoid them temporarily." The scene was silent for a few seconds. Then, there was noise. Some beast men shouted that they wanted to go down and fight them to the death. It wasn't easy for Bai Yuan to calm these beast men down. The leader is injured. We have to let him recover first. As for the other matters, when the leader recovers, we will naturally take revenge. Everyone, don't be so agitated. Bai Yuan persuaded them for a long time before these beast men accepted the setting of avoiding the limelight and went back to pack their things. Lingxi, quickly pack your things. Bai Yuan saw that Shirshang was still sitting at the entrance of the cave and couldn't help but remind him. Shirshang glanced at him and the corners of his mouth twitched. There's nothing to bring. Could it be that she was going to take the entire cave with her? Bai Yuan sighed and went to busy himself with his work. After everyone packed their things, Bai Yuan asked all the beast men to gather. 2 beast men carried Bayan while Lin Chi-Chi followed beside Bayan with a tired expression. We'll leave from the back of the mountain. Everyone, be careful. Oh no, oh no. The back of the mountain is blocked by the Black Snake tribe. A beast man stumbled down from the back of the mountain. Bai Yuan's expression changed and he grabbed that beast man. Did you see it clearly? The beast man nodded repeatedly. I saw it clearly. All the roads that can go down are blocked. The other beast men immediately spoke. Fight it out with them. That's right. We're not afraid of trouble. This is our territory. How can we let them be presumptuous? We're not afraid of them. Fight it out. They were white tigers after all. These beast men had courage. Brother Bai Yuan, there's no other way now. It's more important to discuss countermeasures and defeat the long-tailed apes and the Black Snake tribe's beast men. Lin Chi-Chi echoed. Bai Yuan glanced at Bayan. Carry the leader back first. Bai Yuan and Lin Chi-Chi discussed countermeasures with the beast men outside. Lin Chi-Chi proposed 2 tactics. After some discussion, they decided to listen to Lin Chi-Chi. When the long-tailed apes and the Black Snake tribe attacked again, Lin Chi-Chi's tactic worked and repelled them. Lin Chi-Chi received unanimous praise from the beast men. Compared to Shirshang, who had been watching and doing nothing, the beast men naturally liked Lin Chi-Chi more. Shirshang used a branch to casually draw messy lines on the ground and looked coldly at the lively beast men in the distance. Lin Chi-Chi's tactic was effective, but that was because the long-tailed apes and the Black Snake tribe's beast men didn't expect it. If they were prepared for the second time, would they still be so easy to fool? Lin Chi naturally understood this logic, so she told everyone not to use that method. But the beast men felt that this method was so good, so why didn't they use it? On the surface, they agreed to Lin Chi, but in private, they didn't give up on using this method. Thus, in the second exchange, not only did the White Tiger Tribe's beast men not defeat the enemy, but they also lost several beast men on their side. Chapter 1299. With this defeat, they were forced to retreat step by step. The long-tailed apes and the crow-snake tribe fought. "Where's Bayan? Tell him to come out. Why are you pretending to be a coward?" Monkey shouted the moment he came up. He transformed into a human and was much smaller than when he was in his beast form. However, he was still stronger than ordinary beast men. From afar, he looked like a muscular man. This violated the setting of the word, monkey. Allow me to remind the host seriously that he's not a monkey. Shi Shang was speechless. The White Tiger Tribe's beast men formed a semi-arc and protected the underage and female beast men behind them. "Big brother, capture them all. Won't we be able to find Bayan after searching?" Monkey B's malicious gaze swept across the female behind him. "The females of this White Tiger Tribe are much prettier than our tribes." Monkey A might have felt that Monkey B's words made sense. He waved his muscular arm. "Kill the male and capture the female." The battles between tribes were very cruel. The captured females could only exist as slaves in that tribe. It was fine if they were beautiful. If they were fancied by someone with a higher status, their lives would be better. But if they were ugly, they could only be used as a tool by those male beast men who didn't have partners. Looking at a group of animals fighting, Shi Shang felt that he had entered a zoo. It was even a magnified version of a zoo. Lin Chi and some old, weak, women, and children retreated to Bayan's cave. Shi Shang sat next to them with his legs crossed as if nothing had happened. "Lingxi, why aren't you going down to help?" A female beast man couldn't stand it anymore. Shi Shang looked sideways at that female beast man. "Why should I help?" The female beast man said righteously, "Those who can fight have gone. Why don't you go?" "What does it have to do with me?" "You're the leader's sister. The leader is injured. You have the obligation to protect us." The female beast man directly put a big hat on Shi Shang. Shi Shang dug his ears. "Then, I'll cut ties with him." The beast men were speechless. "You're too casual." "Everyone, stop talking." Lin Chi came out of the cave and distributed some weapons with wooden sticks and stones to the beast men. "The only thing we can do now is to protect ourselves. Who wants your fake kindness?" The female beast men didn't buy Lin Chi words. They brushed her hand away and said in harsh tones, "Isn't it all because of you that we suffered this? You're seducing male beast men everywhere. Why are you pretending in front of us at this time?" Those beast men were only 30% hostile to Shi Shang, but when they saw the female lead, their hostility soared to 10%. Lin Chi face darkened and she defended herself. "I didn't." The female beast man closest to Lin Chi pushed her. "Who are you doing this for? Do you think that we will pity you like those males?" Lin Chi staggered from the push and hit a protruding rock outside the cave. Her back hurt. The anger in her heart rose. These beast men were still harping on this matter at this time. Don't they want her? Push her out and we'll be fine. She's the one who started it, so there's nothing wrong with using her to appease her. Lin Chi looked at the orcs in front of her in disbelief. However, a magnetic beast man had already reached out to pull her. The two female beast men worked together to push Lin Chi to the front. "Stop fighting. Don't you want her? We'll give her to you and you'll leave our encampment." Shi Shang was speechless. Beast men weren't inferior to humans when it came to betraying their teammates. They were too naive. I must have come to a fake beast man world. The beast men fighting below stopped when they heard the sound and looked at the cave. Lin Chi-Chi was pushed to the front. Her snow-white fur wrapped around her exquisite body. A large area of fair skin was exposed to the air. Her small face was pale, but it looked pitiful and pitiful. "What are you doing?" Bai Yuan's exasperated voice traveled over. "Bai Yuan, they're much more sensible than you. All right, as long as you give us that female, we won't fight anymore." Monkey A followed closely. "Dream on." Bai Yuan berated, seemingly enraged. "Bai Yuan, look. You can't beat us. A female can be exchanged for your entire tribe. It's very worth it." Monkey A pointed at the White Tiger tribe's beast men who had fallen to the ground. Bai Yuan's expression changed slightly. His gaze landed on the wailing beast men on the ground. He looked up at Lin Chi-Chi again. "Bai Yuan, why don't we agree to them?" He didn't know if the leader would recover, but if he didn't agree now, they would probably die here. "Bai Yuan, agree to them." "Agree." The male beast men started to agree. Lin Chi-Chi didn't expect that the beast men who had treated her very well a moment ago would agree to exchange her for their lives in the next moment. This world, it was far more dangerous than she had thought before. Bai Yuan struggled for a long time before finally nodding. The female beast men immediately suppressed the struggling Lin Chi-Chi. "Retreat to the foot of the mountain first. We'll give her to you." Bai Yuan didn't look at Lin Chi-Chi as he gritted his teeth. "Okay." Monkey A waved his hand. "Don't play tricks. It's very easy for us to fight our way up. Let's go." "Brother, wait a minute." Monkey B suddenly pulled Monkey A and pointed in Shishang's direction. "That seems to be Bai An's sister. Let's take her away too." Shishang was speechless. "I was just here to watch the show. Why did I have to be shot too? It wasn't enough to obtain the female lead. They actually wanted me too. They were simply tired of living. Where was I's sword?" "Don't go overboard." Bai Yuan immediately stood up and glared. "If you force us into a corner, we'll just perish together." Monkey A was a little hesitant. His original goal was Lin Chi-Chi, but Bai An's sister. If he could torture her, he could vent his anger. Monkey A made up his mind. Count her in. Lin Chi-Chi suddenly stopped struggling. She looked up at Shishang. Now that they were in the same situation, could she still watch coldly from the sidelines? Or rather, would the person behind her still watch coldly from the sidelines? "Bai Yuan, have you thought it through? Do you want to bury the entire White Tiger tribe with you?" Monkey A looked at Bai Yuan, who was about to attack him. "You." Before Bai Yuan could speak, Shishang cut him off. "Monkey, have you thought it through? Do you want to bury the entire group of monkeys with you?" Monkey A was speechless. "Who the hell is a monkey?" "Your whole family is monkeys." Shishang jumped down from the platform in the cave and slowly walked towards the battle circle. When she approached the monkey army, a cold light flashed and the iron sword suddenly appeared. She jumped forward. Monkey A was shocked. His orc intuition told him that there was danger and he subconsciously defended himself. His body suddenly grew taller and returned to the size of Mount Tai. He used his arm to block the iron sword that was swinging down. Swoosh, the sound of the iron sword dragging in the air seemed to make time freeze. #today, I'm looking for flowery votes number 2017. 0409 Book Review Area Little Angel Grandpa A New week has begun. Votes. The monthly votes of 2000 have been added to your votes. Continue to vote seriously. Delta Epsilon. Delta Epsilon. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.